Dora.
And yes, good evening and hello. Welcome to Change Stars Scorpio, our newest Change Stars campaign here on Thursday nights. Tonight, you'll get the first glimpse at the intrepid cast and crew of the TST Scorpio, who are also secretly the self-same crew of the Trinity fleet ship, Ceres. This deep cover group is part of an operation to investigate a certain set of situations. Oh, hello, Cal. Thank you for your monthly appearance.
Is that how we were briefed on it? Were we told you're investigating a certain set of situations, and we were like, all right, sir, thanks for the info.
Yep. So,
military intelligence, everyone.
You're headed to the Far Shore system and the world of Styre's Steeple. Styre's Steeple is a frontier world close to Thren space, which is both Mirad-formed and terraformed. The Steeple people have gone on to be a mix of human, Thren, and Vir, having joined here after a war and mutual attempts to expand and, in the human case, conquer, brought them together, and the conflict flowed forth. They're not too fond of the Trinity. They're friendly, but they like to be left alone. See, there used to be a steeple on Styre's Steeple before Lilith's Legion toppled it over. During the Great Transition, it was not a world that was very much in favor of some of the moving and shaking going on. And now, they celebrate two different Independence Days. One, when Lilith's Legion first arrived, and the other, when they left. So, they're a group of people who are not, like, violent or, gonna, throw things at you in the street, but maybe not the fondest of Trinity governance and intelligence officers and what you might be trying to poke around and do on their planet. So you're trying to keep it casual, fly casual. Come, say a little cheeky hello, and get the intel on what one Vraja Druin wants with all these nano foundry components in your hull. You see, while it is an officially sanctioned project that they're working on to produce traditional Thren garments, there have been some of each shipment going missing. Your job is to figure out where it's going, what's going on, and pop the lid on this case. So, I'm hearing like a train in someone's back.
That was weird.
Oh, that was there was a big bus. Actually, no, that wasn't a bus. That was a motorcycle.
Oh, was it the e-bussy?
I hate.
I'm not gonna dignify that with an answer.
That's the default Change Stars public transit.
No, it's not.
I think the default Change Stars public transit is like a shuttle which crashes.
True. Well, hopefully you won't crash because you are at the end of.
This isn't a game I'm running, so I have a feeling we won't crash in the opening scene.
You're at the end of a 2-week fold space skip, and you are getting ready to come out of your skips through multiple different wormholes at a distant location, and you are going to exit in the shadow of F4, a gas giant, one planet out from Decor, from your destination of Styre's Steeple. You'll be able to hopefully get a read on the situation. Did Pat just fall or walk away?
I think she walked.
She actually ran away.
Yeah.
And she ran. So anyway, you're preparing to drop out of fold space, and you're going to go to a location where you won't be immediately observed, and you can take in whatever the situation may be on the ground here. There is no faster-than-light telecoms outside of sending a message aboard a spaceship in the Change Stars universe, so your intel is about a month old as to what the present situation on the ground is. Ideally nothing has changed, but, pays to be careful. It's not too uncommon for free merchants to pop out in the shadow of this moon, ostensibly because you can scoop fuel here. Not moon, but, gas giant. You're popping in, and
I was about to say.
the four of you are assembled on the bridge because you are awake, up, and Adam. So I think that we're going to take it in order here from the Thren stood tall against the far wall. Far left.
Damn, that's some good art.
Yeah.
I
wonder,
got,
can we find the artist? I bet she takes commissions.
I don't know.
Not fucking right now, I don't.
They're probably like a terrible person. It's not.
oof.
Yeah,
Oof. That's
probably canceled.
That's not nice.
Better not to know.
Ow! Ow! I'm so upset.
yes.
They probably have some weird shit they say on Twitter.
Which Twitter account? My regular Twitter account?
Yeah, so Zhivka, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm Zhivka. What was the last name? Zhivka Kak, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That's unfortunate. I did not think that one through. We'll talk about that later.
Well, we'll have a cock talk later.
The Scorpio. Oh, god damn it! I've joined the Scorpio crew because I'm the weapons officer.
So is that like a lieutenant or like a petty officer?
I don't know. What would that be, Lee? Kind of like.
I'm just wondering. Are you like what was your ranking like if we had military terms? Would you be a private? Would you be private cock?
Oh my god. Zhivka.
Alright, I'm done.
It'd be a long
I don't need this shit.
I thought you were going for petty in second class, Max. I
No.
thought that you'd be going for something a little more detailed. Anyway, she is technically
Go for the low hanging fruit. It's the best stuff.
You're agents. You are all of the equivalent rank, broadly speaking, of agent. You're officer. You're Trinity Fleet Intelligence officers, and you have your own specialties, and you are all assigned to this mission to make sure that you succeed. It's you've been brought from across the service to create the eclectic feel of a free merchant vessel. And you've all taken roles that make sense for you on the ship and had, false cover stories constructed.
Yeah. All right. Tell us all about your cock.
Yes, I'm Zhivka. Not gonna say it.
You shift
I'm
and
Shivka, last name censored.
last name censored, and we'll definitely go through review.
We're just gonna tuck it out of the way. Don't worry about it anymore.
Oh my
I
lord!
hate every single
This is
person
like
here
2
right
minutes
now,
in.
except for shit.
She didn't said nothing. She was innocent.
I'm sorry. I was gonna try to make this like a serious. I was gonna do role play and all sorts of stuff planned out, but it's already ruined.
I'm gonna change
By
that
you!
to
Make one
oh,
joke, but
By you!
Play.
Shivka.
I
Okay,
can't
no.
help it. You
No.
put a cock in front of me, I'm gonna have to gobble it down.
All right,
Oh.
Shivka. All right, no.
All right.
Fuck you, Shivka. Tell us about your character.
This is what happens when
Well,
you
yeah,
let the gays
okay.
play role-playing games.
weapons officer. Yes. I don't really know.
Cock likes to fire. All there is
Likes
to it.
to go off.
All right, fuck you, fuck both of you. Every time
They hurt
you
me.
cut off Bulltrip, I'm gonna give you one more edge.
We're
all
trying
right?
to give him more time to think of a backstory. He's clearly struggling, Lee. Can't you see this man needs help?
I want to put him in the spot. No, okay, it's fine.
All right,
Zhivka,
all right, all
Zhivka seems like the kind of like mysterious lady, kind of like leaning against the wall. She's got the long goat legs. She's like, hello.
Look at my legs of goat.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Don't pay attention to my last name.
across
Sexy,
the con,
sexy legs.
Finley rattled deep, dap deep.
Rattle. It's very simple, Lee. It's rattle da. Wait, shit. Did I spell it wrong? No, yeah. It's rattle that deep. Come on, it's simple. It's rattle that
Now
deep.
that beat.
Rattle dap deep.
Yes. Hello, I'm Finley Rattledap I've been in the service practically my entire life. They recruited me out of an orphanage. On a home ship. Seems kind of unethical, but the Trinity did it anyway.
I'm sure there was more to it.
Indeed. Well, there's no like child soldiering, so maybe after you I don't know, graduated from orphan school.
Orphan school.
Sure.
Academy.
Presumably there's a training course that you have to pass at the end of the orphanage.
I assume it works the same way like those like Halo books where it talks about how Master Chief did his thing, where they like cloned me and then kidnapped me and like cloned out of cancer and then all that happened.
Oh yeah, the Spartan program.
Yeah. So that's how Finley got into the service. He got Spartaned.
Amazing.
Right.
I'm good at I like to. I think the thing about being a RAST is you kind of stay below notice. You hold up a clipboard, put an ID badge on vaguely, and just walk right on into secured areas.
Indeed, you hold a mask.
Works better on home ships.
Nice. Right. So, Kulger, you found yourself with this unlikely herd. Tell us a little about yourself and what you do here on the ship.
Holger always fixes ships. One day, people asked him to fix people. Another day, tall friend lady asked me to come onto the ship and to fix the ship and the people here. Not sure why, not sure how I'm getting paid, but I'm here to fix people.
You've got it. You've got it. Don't worry.
I don't know where I
credits
am.
account.
I don't know why I'm here, but I do know that I'm here to fix things and get paid.
I love
Amazing. Yeah. So, Kulger, very dependable operative on both people and things. He keeps them going. Meanwhile,
They tried to give me a badge, but they couldn't pin it on me, so I'm just here.
The Blue
If
East.
you wore a shirt.
Blue East.
Blue East is good at two things: getting high and flying ships. She does them at the same time.
How the fuck did you become a spy? They're like, this person, they seem like a real reliable sort. What do? They get high and they fly ships. Oh, that's a real rare skill set.
Yeah, I mean,
They definitely have no exploitable vices.
Yeah, one time, you were there, they were processing your DUI, and you were getting therapy for it, and someone walked in with a pair of shades, and they said, Miss East, you have a set of skills. How would you care to serve the Trinity? For the good of the unity.
Sure
And he
thing.
said, as long as the Trinity serves me a drink.
Yeah.
I need
As long as I
5.
don't have to stay here.
All
No,
right.
but actually, she was in therapy for a long time. Her mother was a separatist, and so she's serving to undo the wrongs of her family.
Indeed. And now we'll find out if two Easts can make a right.
What?
Hey, Weapon Officer Cock. We should bully the person who's a separatist's child, because that sounds like a fun thing to do.
That sounds pretty good. I agree.
I would invite Colger to do it as well, but I'm not
Separatist or
entirely
not?
convinced they would understand bully as like a gentle ribbing and not as some sort of violent ritual.
It's okay, East. No matter what they do to you, I can fix you.
Yeah,
I'm thoroughly reassured.
Rip them off.
It's a good thing y'all need me to fly this ship. Can't damage me too bad.
I don't know. I've known some
Unless you're
pilots
willing
that
to
don't have
Kind
legs.
of walk on.
I mean, no, I think they need to do the legs to like just pedals.
I'm sure I could get them fixed if they were removed. Trentech's
You don't,
pretty,
you don't need legs.
pretty on point.
That's what they want you to think.
I mean, I could do it without legs too, but I kind of.
I mean, what you do with legs? Damn girl, no legs. See, we need to keep them.
Damn girl, you walk with them toes.
I feel quite attached to my legs. I'd rather not be separated from them.
And so Finney's gonna look out the window and he's like, so, I suppose we should get some more recent intel. I suggest we bomb the planet.
What did
And
you just
then-
suggest?
We will
Wait, did you
hear a
just
lot
say
of
bomb
news
it?
broadcasts saying we're interrupting this story on, then they'll name the recent intel, and then they'll cover the bombing.
Okay.
So yeah, you arrive to a brilliant vista of purple and white swirling below. It is the planet designation F4.
Look at that beaut. Glorious, glorious.
It's swirling gases.
My character
fulminate
says something
below.
clever about what mineral causes purple to happen, but I don't know what mineral causes purple to happen, so pretend I'm clever.
Alright, roll systems to know what mineral
Pretend we know.
makes it purple.
know what mineral?
First roll of the game, of the campaign.
Knowing what makes things purple is very important on Diesel Shop.
Yeah, honestly, I got systems purely so I can know what makes things purple.
Indeed, you note from the purple hue that there is likely a considerable bromine content.
Ah, the glitter of the bromine in the sunset. Truly beautiful. It reminds me of a hot tub.
Wow. All right. Good to know. I'd say as I'm, leaned over the consoles and I'm flicking buttons. So, yeah, that. All right, and we're coming in on the planet here. Let's see if we can get any of those comms going.
So the only communications that are currently available are those bounced from satellites that are presently on this side of B4. There aren't any, but you do know that. So, there's no real important data on the goings on the planet that's been broadcasting to these like atmospheric monitoring satellites. But you do notice some traffic data. And you also would note that you've just received a ping. As in someone has scanned and found you.
Someone's looking for us? I mean, so do we get pings normally when people... I'm assuming
it's like a radar
ping
ping. If anybody's out here...
Somebody's just searching.
If somebody's out here looking for anybody, it's placeholder your ship. They're gonna peep you. Yeah, you get hit back with a designation. It is a well, actually, so okay. You get somebody's looking for you, right? If someone wanted to make a systems test, they could hop on the comms console and look for them.
You know I'm on it. Alright, let me grab my character sheet. As soon as I find my character sheet, I'm on it, that is.
As soon as I find my character sheet, I'm on it.
The classic.
I'm on it. Kind of. Alright.
I like to imagine you like lean across the cockpit and you have like one hand on the steering yoke and your other hand's over here like taking the shit into the console. And then we're just sitting there and we're like,
Are we
That
going
doesn't seem
to
safe.
die?
we're gonna crash into the moon. Bromide isn't good for you. Bromide.
Bromide.
Bro,
Bromine.
it ain't good for you.
Bro.
The moon isn't bromine. The gas giant is. Get it straight.
I knew that.
So, you would note, so you've gotten 2 successes here. You're succeeding, but you also have a twist. You could do this quickly. You could do this, I mean, you're just checking information that's already pinged at you, so there's nothing stealthy about it. You could do it quickly. You could get a +1 to similar tests in the future. Gain
Don't
1
necessarily
edge.
see
That's
this
always
coming
it's always an option.
I feel like the edge is gonna come naturally. I'm gonna go ahead and is there any chance I could? So what I'm getting is information from them. Is there any chance I could sensor lock them, basically?
You mean you want to scan them right back? Absolutely.
That wouldn't be too weird. Yeah.
No, that's the pro move. If you're like walking down
then-
the street and you see someone checking you out, you turn around and you
Then
just
make
up and down them and you're
make a systems with a modifier of 1 because you're pumping forward your twist into that. But I will say what you learn is you pick up
like
their
recognizing
transponder as a home ship compliant registration HCR F01K Red J.
Ah.
And with that, you scan and detect them. They've scanned and detected you, and they are presently 3 encounter units away from you.
Damn, they're close.
Yeah,
They're
and
practically right on top of us. How do we miss this?
you start to receive a hailing
got here.
frequency.
We're too busy
I
admiring
queue
the
up
curve.
ours and yeah, I respond. I'm Ready to receive?
Yeah. All right. So there is a bit of a communique across Le Wire, and on the hollow screen there pops up a Thren Visar. Hey, Pirate
One
Games.
question before we get into this conversation for something my character might know.
Mhm.
You said it was a home ship compliant designation. Would my character know which home ship?
So you would know. You could easily check, I should say. You know like the family of them more or less. It's kind of like a license plate, and yeah, you. I'm assuming Pat is like showing you the console or whatever, but you would recognize.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean, I'm probably
public.
leaning over her shoulder or something.
Yeah,
I'm not leaning. I'm probably like poked
It's
behind her.
definitely it's definitely a Spirit of Rin HCR.
All right, the good guys.
Yeah, an eminently for sale transponder code. And yeah, a Thren face pops up, and she says, "Hello. I'm sorry to bother you, Scorpio. We were just scooping fuel when we had a bit of an incident. We're low on some replacement parts, and we're far from being able to get out around the planet and head back for supplies. There's no manned stations out here that we could reach, so we were wondering if you could give us a hand. We just need a few items." And they, send across like a manifest list of various replacement parts, like pipes and bespoke machinery, various bips and bops and ends, and most importantly, she would note, unfortunately, due to a gas leak, we've also contaminated our replacement life support filters, and our life support is struggling at the moment without replacement parts to make it on what we're scooping. So it is a bit urgent. We were just about to try and do everything we could to get around the planet before we saw an arrival. We are, of course, prepared to transfer you Threatened Federation credits for your trouble.
Are we on mute in this video call, spaceship video call?
Well, you can turn on your camera. You can not turn on your holo projector. You can be muted. You can not be muted.
Right.
What's the status?
I would like to discreetly. I assume we don't turn on the cam.
Yeah, I assume we don't turn it on instantly.
All right, so cam is off, and is it muted?
Yes. I mean, if it isn't muted, I'm about to press the mute.
Maybe how about it's not muted, but I think we default to mute. Honestly, we're a fucking spycraft ship. We default to mute. I would unmute briefly to say, manifest received. Give us a moment to look this over.
Of course.
And I'm gonna you unpress the unmute button. Sorry.
You would note that her ship is on. It has turned to an intercept course of yours.
All right.
Presumptuous.
So, before we shipped out here, I was at a retro they do archaeology and they dig up ancient video games. And I was at an arcade that you can play those at before we shipped out. And there was this old game called FTL Faster Than Light, where this exact shit happens, and they try to attack you every single fucking time.
It is canon, by the way, that in Little Ichthus there is an FTL compartment. You can go play it on the cabinet there.
It's still sci-fi, considering that FTL exists in that setting.
That's true. There are also Mantis people, just like, all the parallels.
I'm upset.
Okay, but either way, Finley's like, this is awfully convenient. Why couldn't they bounce an SOS off the comm satellites, or the weather monitoring satellites? And why... It's awfully convenient that they're here, and they want to dock with us, and they're already moving to dock with us.
Clearly, they're stupid. They couldn't fix their life support. We can't...
Also, I know how orbits work. Look how orbits work.
But I can go over there and fix it. Sorry, what was that?
Sorry. I'm just thinking how orbits work. If they waited a minute, they would have been on the right side of the planet to send a message directly to the people they need to talk to.
No. They're stupid. They couldn't fix their life support. Clearly, They're simple-minded. I don't think we can spare anything, but I can go over there and fix their ship with what they have, and then we can go on.
I don't think the ship is broken.
Yeah, why don't you do an
Probably
intuition or
not.
something? See if you can piece together any.
I mean,
You will need.
Could
you,
I roll
you,
like an
you,
intuition to like
you'll
poke a
need-
hole in their story mentally?
You'll need. I mean, you've already brought up fine points. If you want to insight on whether or not somebody's lying, you kind of need more. I mean, I would say you could already insight what she said, because what she said is kind of like my ship's in dire situation. Also, yes, they can pass a message. It's going to take hours for the message to arrive at that planet, and then someone has to respond. One other thing I would note is there is one intra-system connection that swipes across your monitor at this time. Actually, roll me an insight, Max, before I say this.
All right. Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very exciting.
Yeah. Okay. So you could gain an edge. You could gain extra information, or you could get this insight, like, I guess, almost instantaneous.
Extra info, baby.
Extra info. Okay. Well, here's the baseline. Yeah. You think Archon Thule is practicing a script at you. She's trying to convince you of something. You know, she doesn't seem like she's really as distressed as she should be if she's really got some sort of dire life support situation. And while it could be, like, she could legitimately be in distress depending on how bad the situation is she's describing, and maybe she wouldn't hold out for the 12 hours optimistic round table time it would take for the ping pong of communications and someone to get out here. That doesn't explain the extra information that you get, which indicates that there's an intra-system alert, right? And this is important enough it bounces off of all satellites and is sent around. All the 2 out of the 3 Trinity naval picket ships that are like on active duty in the system are busy responding to a coreward disturbance involving a suspicious collision. It advises to stick to declared flight and also there's a separate one advising to stick to declared flight plans in advance over Steyr Steeple, because there is a high amount of in-atmos flight due to routine infrastructure repairs. Those are the 2 intra-system alerts. One of them stands out as, you know, having happened within the past 6 or 12 hours, like sometime in the past 10 hours, that happened. And those picket ships are still responding to the incident.
All right, so Finley's gonna say, this feels like a setup, either for us because our cover is already blown, or this is a piracy operation where they distract the patrol ships into the center of the system, lay this trap. Once they get close, they're either gonna board or, you know, broadside us. I say immediate evasive maneuvers, power up weapons.
On it.
Anyone is feel free to disagree with me on this.
I'm not gonna disagree. It sounds like a good idea.
How do we fix their life support then?
I have a solution. What we will do is we will get rid of the life support. That way it won't need to be fixed.
I agree.
This is very
I mean-
confusing. You're gonna have to give me like
Presumably-
an hour.
Yeah, I kind of come up and like stand on my tiptoes to like rub your head. I probably can't even reach. I crumble on a chair and get up there to rub your head. And I'm like, don't worry, there's gonna be lots of things for you to fix on this ship in a minute.
Why would you break this ship? It's working fine. I fixed it
Well,
already.
they're about to, the people with the life support.
Colger, they're not. They're saying things that are not true. They're lying to us. We believe. We're going to engage in hostile
Space
communication.
combat! Combat in space!
Colger, you understand lying, right?
Yeah, it's when
Yeah.
people don't pay you when you fix things.
Exactly. They're saying that they need things fixed, but really they just want to take our shit. Is what we think.
Okay. This makes sense.
Yeah. So they're I think we should start with defensive maneuvers though, because they haven't necessarily explicitly declared their intents. It'll feel awful embarrassing if we fire a missile at them and it turns out they were being frank with us.
Yeah, and so like
I mean, mildly embarrassing as long as we hide the evidence.
you have a visual on the Red J. If anybody wants to try and like roll scrutiny to take a look in a book reading microscope.
That's actually not a bad idea. I'll shoot one out the front, a little scroot here.
Okay, super twist. With a super twist, you would note that the Red J. So the Red J appears to just have, to the naked eye, an asteroid gun and a grapnel tether for ship-to-ship and salvaging operations. However, upon closer inspection, you do in fact note that it seems to have ports for transponder drone swarms, which are a countermeasure, admittedly, not an active attack measure, but there's also, tucked away under one of the primary transponder masts, a 600 MeV particle beam emitter.
Okay, so I say they have hidden weapons. Book it. Yeah, I point at Gunnery Officer Cock. I say, get on weapons, if you would please. I'm actually not your boss. This is our request.
I like how there's
This is a
really
cold request.
You hurt me. Just
there's literally
internally.
no chain of command.
But yes.
That's a good point. We're just all sitting here and like, guys, I'm the shortest, smallest, and squishiest amongst us. Let's go.
So, you guys have 4 weapons. One of them needs to be manned from a place that isn't the bridge. The others are all manned in the bridge.
I mean, I think we're personally, personally, I think we are going to book it, as they say.
I mean, I think we should prepare the weapons as well, though. Also, an important question towards like the sort of surveillance capabilities of stuff in this world and in this system. A railgun is a secret weapon, effectively.
Yeah.
If we are caught on surveillance by the larger system shooting a railgun at something, that probably wouldn't be too great for a cover story. Would that be able to be, like, with the satellites we've already detected around us, though the weather monitoring satellites that appear to serve multiple functions, would they register this combat at all?
So
and
first of all,
within the combat, would they register like particular weapons?
A little light leaps on as you're thinking about this, and like a digital representation of your Night Blossom AI unit appears. And alright, so alright, maybe if I look for Mother, I'll get to it sometime this month.
It's a good thing I've been rewatching The Expanse, because I have so many thoughts about space combat, like not in terms of like criticism thoughts, but like strategies.
Yeah, so this digitized version of the eye shows up. Well, it's on and camera off, and says, "Night Blossom has finished node system handshake. All nearby the nearby mother network is in collaboration." Yeah. So
okay.
basically, the satellites.
Remember how protocols work.
So the satellites are gonna notice, but the satellites don't have, because Night Blossom has done a handshake with them. You don't need to put in your Trinity Fleet ship transponder for them to know that, basically they're going to put a nondescript mother notice on any data related to this fight. Technically speaking, if somebody got like a subpoena to find out the recordings, they could find it, but by default, nobody's thinking to look for it, and Mother isn't going to make it obvious.
All right.
Mother.
That being said,
so
if
I
somebody
say man the
physically
railgun.
comes and checks out the evidence that you blew through them with a railgun, and your ship doesn't obviously have one, which civilian vessels can have railguns, but yours doesn't appear to, then that could raise questions. If someone was willing to hoof it out here behind this gas giant and look at, I don't know, a wreck you happened to blow up before it fell into degrading orbit and in the bromine.
Okay, so evidence could exist, but at the moment we don't have a particular fear of being caught.
No, while you're still on the dark side, while you're still in the shadow of the planet, is the best time to act in terms of not getting detected at large. That's why they're doing this. I mean, that's why you think they're doing what they're doing, and this is why you might do what you're doing. It like the cloak of night shields both from the eyes of day.
Damn, that was poetic. Would that I had said it. But I'm not a poet, I'm just a pilot.
So Finley assumes what I call battle stance, which is to say his arms go up in the air and start noodling around, and he says, "Battle stations!"
Everybody heard the flailing noodle.
All right, so
Let's get
an important
going.
note for everybody
Yes.
involved.
Noodle.
Kulger, you would know that when it comes to ship do stuff time, you can make ship go fast, and you can make power be allocated good. Both of those are in the ass end of the ship between reactor and propulsion. Would you, at this time, think to go station yourself in one of those two places?
Yeah. It would make the most sense for me to be back there, ready to push the buttons or whack the thing.
And Finley, where the comp mesh room is right below you for any sort of E-war activity. Would you be headed down there?
Absolutely.
All right, you come down here. There are chairs. I just forgot to put them in. So
I mean, I probably don't need a chair as much as either like a step stool.
you get a little step stool. You get Night Blossom says, registered agent Finley Rattled the Deep. Joining.
Actually, if this is a hollow table in the middle, what I imagine Finley has done is he set up a hammock, a little brass-sized hammock that goes across the whole room, centered over the table, and has the holographic controls set up to be him reclining in the hammock and hacking like that.
Amazing. Very relaxed Ewar. All right.
Well, yeah, if a ship starts to maneuver like crazy, the hammock can compensate. It's honestly just good practice.
Yeah, so the Scorpio is not buying the Red J's shit, right? And do you offer any response before you start taking evasive maneuvers?
I wasn't planning on it.
Okay, so
Pat would be the one I would love to do that, unless Kruger wants to say something. Not Kruger, sorry.
Holger. So Pat,
Holger,
you got pilot actions, and every square on this map is an engagement unit. So show to players. The thrust on this vehicle is a +0, but you could let your pal in the back either do something in propulsion or do something in a reactor if you would have asked Kulger to juice you. But if you're not, I'm assuming it doesn't sound like you're waiting for Kulger to juice you. It sounds like you're just doing something. So do you just want to move in a direction, basically? Oh, that is away from them, or do you want to take evasive defensive maneuvers?
I'm gonna send out a comm to presumably. All right. So do we all have headsets, or are we just using the ship's intercom?
You got
Doesn't
headsets.
Really matter. All right. We all have headsets, so I direct into to Finley and I say, all right, I've got an idea. What if we fly towards them with intent to fly past them, and volley our shots on our way out?
That's actually yes, maneuver in such a way that makes it look like we're coming to intercept and meet up, but more than that.
Yeah,
Also, that will give us a moment to get weapons on them because we could hit them real hard at the moment of turnaround.
All right. Should I relay the information that we're heading towards them?
Yes, yeah. Let them know we're coming to help. Hopefully, that will keep them from shooting at us right now.
So we are fixing the
Sounds good.
board.
East out. No, that was a lie. East out.
Also, how'd you get on this call? This was a direct call.
Yeah,
I might have fixed it.
Our
finagled that wrong.
contour is gonna try and insight that shit.
All right, no. So here's what I say. All right, I pop the comms on and I say, manifest red. We have some of the parts, and we have an over enthusiastic engineer who genuinely wants nothing more than to fix your life support system.
That's lovely.
Super sorry about all the shit you've been through. We are kind of on a schedule though, so let's make this quick, okay?
Certainly. And
Calm out, and I'm heading towards them.
all right.
Quite quick.
Do you want to roll me a communicate on that one?
Yeah, why not?
Dr. Mechanic Privilege. I'm glad we invented Dr. Mechanic Privilege. All right, yeah.
All right. First edge gain of the night. I think I'm gonna try that again.
All right.
Well, with feeling. Woo!
Nice.
Okay, yeah. So you managed to overcome. You managed to overcome her, and
Over crumb cake.
she's yeah. It seems like she's believing you for the moment. Blue East. So Blue East, do you want to take a combat pass? Is that what you're intimating?
I mean, that's pretty much what I'm getting at here.
All right. Well, then all right. Then roll operate unless there's any side actions you want to do beforehand.
Personally, can't think of any. Let's
All right.
do this thing. 3, 2, 1. Let's jam.
And
Goddamn.
holy shit! Yeah. Okay. And Zarakan, Zhivka, have you gone and got on the gun? Are you on a gun in the bridge, or are you on the Diprotodon?
So did we determine that it was okay to use the railgun, more or less? Besides the whole, if somebody investigated it, like... did
Yes,
people
we just have to
care?
hide the evidence.
Okay.
All
Then, yeah,
automated
I'll use the
systems will
railgun.
mean that nothing's gonna go wrong with this. If someone actually comes all the way out here and physically looks
Yes.
at it, then
I
we're
mean,
shit.
we could also just give the wreckage a gentle nudge into the gas giant.
And in Kulgar, are you going to be in the reactor or propulsion as this kicks off? Reactor lets you allocate power, which there's 3 of for the ship, and that's going to boost various systems and other people's actions. Propulsion lets you do things more directly related to go fast.
I think reactor.
All right. So, Pat, you're making a combat pass on your target.
That is essentially what I'm doing. Do I have the speed to do that?
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's what it is, right? When you succeed, you've just +1'd all attack rolls against target, or +2'd all attack rolls against target until your next turn. As a twist, you can either move 1 encounter unit closer, or add a +1 further to that. So you could do your success, and then you could use your super twist to just blaze like past them. You want to blaze past them?
Honestly, at this point, do we want to pass them or line ourselves up for another runaround?
I mean, it won't. Mechanically, it won't. Like, facing is not considered in this system mechanically, if that's the thing you're considering.
That is basically what I am considering.
Okay, so if
One
going to come
EU
in,
is
he's going
one
to be
EU.
like, I suspect the maneuvering thrusters wouldn't make it mean that would make a difference.
All right, well, let's fly by and
All right,
shoot him in the eye.
All right, so you're gassing it.
Gassing it, yeah, gassing it to move hopefully past them on their other flank.
You want to wind up here.
Sorry. So
You get 3 EUs. You get. Do I have you on the right map? No, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm a piece of shit.
Okay, that's kind of what I was.
That makes it...
Okay, cool.
Okay,
All right, so I've got
so
three move. Yeah.
You got 3 EUs. Yeah, you can move 3 whole European unions at this time.
All right, so I want to be right on top of them.
You want to assume
Honestly,
the
in space, that isn't that
Hold
far.
on. Okay, to clarify, if you do that, you will be at 0 encounter units. That is the encounter range at which one may attempt a boarding action. Are you okay with that?
Please
No.
don't.
I mean, like, if we are significantly above them, I mean, okay, for the purposes of a 2D map.
Space
I'm sorry,
is
we will be
flat
right
in
here.
Change Stars the role-playing game. Space
We will
is
be
flat and
right
equidistant
here.
in all directions.
Sorry. For the purposes of a 2D map, we'll be right here.
Okay, so you're up and to the left of them, right?
Yeah, or up and to the up
Alright.
of them.
You're barreling by, and you're making a combat
Moving
pass, which kind of
So
like
fucking.
yeah, you're moving fast. You do a combat pass, so you line up a shot on them. You guys are you've seized the initiative, and the Scorpio just goes first. This is considered the first turn. Yeah. Technically speaking, there is a nondescript turn order in space combat. Whenever you guys would, if you guys feel that you would pass at this time because you're just letting Pat drive, that's fine. But basically, I'm not going to go until everybody's either... The world doesn't progress until either everybody else has taken their turn, or everybody else has taken some combination of taking their turn or passed. At which point in time, the Red Jay is going to do what the Red Jay is going to do, and also, if you don't take the shot right now, you don't get the +2. And by right now, I mean in the course of this turn, Jivka.
Okay.
Take the shot.
So you're up in the fucking cargo container converted to, you know,
Sorry, I'm reading the
railgun turret.
gun reactions right now.
Right. So you've got a smattering, a smear even of gun reactions.
Yeah, I'm looking through them. So I have a question about the computer assisted fire. Will that take my turn, or does that mean that the
CAF?
Again,
CAF is so okay. The AI needs to commit. Night Blossom needs to commit a processing to that gun to make that happen. But then you can take the side action to have Night Blossom roll. Night Blossom has a cognition. Night Blossom, let me put it this way, has a gunnery of 6. So you'll roll 6 dice. Every success will get added to yours. You have 5 processing right now. The only person who's going to be fucking with processing is either Finley, if he hands it out as other ways of benefiting people, or the enemy, like, processing is kind of your HP for E-War.
Okay.
You don't know what theirs is yet. You don't know what their AI is yet.
This means that if I do CAF, do I get to roll as well, or is it just basically the AI is doing it for me?
You will spend your side action. You'll make you'll roll 6 dice, and then your main action can be shoot my gun, and all the successes that you made the AI roll and they got will go towards your shot, whatever shot it is. So you basically tap your side action to help out your main action shot.
Okay. Side action, side action, side action. I don't think there's any side action attacks, though. It looks like everything's main action.
Everything's main action, because that leaves your action economy free to CAF, basically.
Okay. Sorry, I'm thinking in between volley fire and an aim shot. I have a
worth noting that your gun is considered high volume because it's a
yes, I know. Let's try out the volley fire. So I press ballistics, and I have a total mod of +5. Then yes, with the volley fire giving a +3 and distance. Okay. So yeah, are you fucking kidding?
Well, thankfully there's a system in Change Stars for re-rolling. You'll go down by a modifier of 1 because you don't re-roll successes, but you wanna gain edge and reach that.
Do it.
Yes, I would like to.
There's so much fucking railgun firing. There's like a rattling from above. Just like so much is going wide into the bromine fields below.
So I lose 1 of those rolls, right?
Yes, it's modifier 4 this time.
Yeah, go.
And you gain the edge before you re-roll it.
Oh my god!
It's important to note in space combat there is another way to gain re-rolls, which you could use at this juncture. You could spend one of the ship's processing, which it gets back at like every 10 hours, right? You could spend one of its 5 processing. Not like committing processing, it's spending.
It's like permanently spent.
For like 10 hours. So it comes back one day, but not for this encounter at all.
Is that something we want to do?
Do it! This is our opening shot.
I mean, okay, let me put it this way. Zhivka, you are alone in the railgun turret blasting away. What do you think Zhivka would do as weapons officer? What's going through her mind as she sat up here in the cargo container rattling away? Okay.
So
alright, so we are down to 4 or 5 processing.
Zhivka, what are you
and is this the same 4 modifier? With the edge,
the modifier remains unchanged for this.
Gotcha. Let's
Bullshit monologue.
What do you mean monologue? Fucking
Tell us what you're thinking.
Is there a super twist for gunnery, or is that all going to be damage? I think it's all going to be... Okay, so... Here's the thing. So you chose volley fire, right? Roll me a d6 for hit location.
So I can twist for extra location. That's
Fractures. Yeah.
Okay.
But first, roll a d6 for... So we'll see your hit location, right?
Okay. It's been a bit. There you go. 2. That is a comp mesh.
All right. So you strike the enemy in the comp mesh. You trigger a comp mesh crisis as just like glittering quantum computer crystals and bits of glass and wiring shatter as holes are poked through the void as railgun round after railgun round, and a huge volley, about which, 5% of which actually hits the enemy ship, strikes at your foe. You trigger them a comp mesh crisis. They're having a bad day right now. They thought that you were gonna have a nice little exchange of parts, and now you're fucking perforating them. You have 3 twists, my friend. You deal to their hull, right? Well, hold on. First of all, you have an armor-piercing weapon, right? I believe.
Yes, it's a half armor.
It's half armor, so they're only rolling 1 armor dice. It does not come through for them. You are dealing the base damage of, which is 4. So you've punched almost half their armor, and you've triggered a crisis. Roll me a fucking a dice, my friend, for each thing you'd like to do.
A d6?
Sorry, no, you don't. Yes, okay. So basically, you're gonna pop a fracture on 3 places on their ship. How fractures work is if they don't get repaired, they don't hurt the enemy ship until the next time they get hurt. Then all of them pop and deal +1 damage. But you're basically gonna put some damage in the barrel on them. So yeah, roll me 3d6 to determine 3 more hit locations because you're scattering fractures around. Okay, so.
The hull, bridge, another on the comp mesh, and propulsion.
All right, so a fracture on their hull, another on their comp mesh, and their propulsion. There's fractures, there's like a split in an engine fuselage. There's a very uncomfortable sound back there right now. More glittering in the dark in the comp mesh, and the hull is just generally speaking, taking a bad hit that isn't going to substantially damage the hull as long as something gets done about it. So that's your go. You've sided. That's Shivka. And also,
yes.
As long as nothing fucky is happening, your ship is also on high alert by now, I'm assuming. So, things have been depressurized, you have your spacesuits on, yada yada.
If we have a klaxon sound that plays a sound effect, now's the time.
I bet you're happy.
That's bullshit shooting right there.
Clip all of us.
I'll try the Star Wars one. He does a very distinctive one they use in Star Wars. That is excellent.
You mean that one? Alright, so point is, you can make action, side action, and then as long as nothing is preventing you from moving fairly easily about the ship, you can pop to one other compartment as you move. Jivka, I'm assuming you keep your ass up in the gun.
Definitely. And I'll have to reload the next turn, so...
Minecraft villager noises, yeah. Yeah, you will. So, okay, Culger and Finley, y'all 2 are the ones left who could act. What do you do?
To act, to dream.
And everybody's movement's tapped
be on
because you were
stage.
presumed to be in the bridge and then moves to where you are. So, Culger, do you have a reactor action you want to take? Finley, do you have a comp mesh action you want to take?
I could run us efficiently. Or I could lock on them in case they try to do evasive maneuvers, given we just took them halfway out.
Yeah?
Let's lock on them, bitches.
Okay, so you're going for the lock-on. Their comp mesh is presently in a crisis, so it's going to be kind of hard for them to do anything about that.
Good.
Give me a roll.
Alright, I imagine that's a, systems.
Okay, so, Normally they would defend, but right now they're not in a position to because like they're presently trying to like vent the broken glass out of their presently damaged combat mesh. Knights of the Bantam, thank you for the raid. Welcome to Change Stars. We're doing some space combat. Someone has just locked on to an enemy ship. And yeah, the Red J is locked on. Their maneuver armor can do nothing against you.
Not just someone, Finley!
Yeah, so that's 2 processing down, so you're at 3 of 5 of them. But bear in mind, that's a commit. That's a commit, so you can come reclaim that later. So that's your go.
I got my little tiles mentally, and I'm shuffling them around like I'm playing shuffleboard.
Yeah. Okay, so Kulger, your shit. You hear the rattling sound of the railgun fire. You hear the beep 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 of a target lock on an enemy. Your ship is barreling forth. You're viewing all of this from the dials of energy being spent across the ship here at the reactor and power center. What are you going to do?
So, what does distribute power do? Distribute positive modifier across the ship's component to the reactor modifier?
So you see how there's power 3 right here?
Mm-hmm.
These 3 tokens each count as a mechanical +1. Right now, they're doing jack shit for anybody. If you distribute power, you can hand them out between stations. So you could give, say, 1, if you gave 1 to comp mesh, 1 to the bridge, and 1 to the railgun, all of your party members would get a +1 on what they are most likely to roll next turn. More shit.
And that power doesn't get drained or anything, right?
Not unless something really bad happens to you. But no, okay. It's there are 3 active energy. It's like you're allocating output from the reactor. The reactor's output is unlikely to change unless you suffer a reactor crisis.
And the commit 2 power to AI to grant extra processing, does that also does that consume power, or
the processing that it's generating goes away when the power goes away. So basically, you could commit 2/3 of your power to making sure that you guys have 1 more processing. Right now, you got 3 processing.
Mm-hmm.
And question about processing, if this is an appropriate time to ask.
Sure.
What the fuck is processing and how does it work?
It lets you re-roll basically any major ship action. For example, Bull Trip in his shot. If you'd fucked up on your lock-on, you could have spent a processing to re-roll it. Similarly, some actions can only be taken.
So it's a communal ship reroll resource.
Yeah, you see these blue tokens? Yeah, and they can be committed, which doesn't use them up. But they can also be spent on reroll. So right now, you've committed a processing to lock onto the Red J, and someone has spent a processing. So in this encounter, at the moment, you've got 4 processing to play ball with. But one of them is tied up at the moment.
I assume it regenerates like per encounter?
10-hour gap, so most of the time, yes. But if someone were to jump you right after you came around this planet, you wouldn't have any more processing.
Alright, we're running dark. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to distribute power with my main action. I'm going to put 2 on the bridge and 1 for the railgun.
Pat, you see your power delimiters all go into the blue range, blinking over 100%. And yeah, the railgun, it's got that very fun barotrauma recharge thing on it, and you're like, oh shit, I just dumped all my power. But no, the power's coming back up, Zhivka. It's time to rip a new one again.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, so alright. The power's been distroed, and that's everyone's turns, yeah?
I think it's their turn now. Ooh.
For future reference, can I, I know we don't have turn order within our party, so could I redistribute power before someone, shoots a gun or something?
Yeah, so basically you could do it where, Zhivka could shoot the railgun, you could take your turn to redistribute power, and then you could redistribute power to a different gun someone shot on the bridge.
Okay.
So you can split turn order, yeah. So that's an option. So the Red J right now, let's just say that there's a different hacker in this encounter who's really unhappy with his present situation. And matter of fact, let's look at his unhappy face right now.
Amazing.
It looks a bit
This
like
guy-
James. So
That looks a bit familiar.
Yeah, looking familiar. Yeah, so he is trying desperately to resolve a crisis. He does not succeed, and you guys learn about, to reveal this area to you, the enemy's AI, which is a sim, and it's an aimbot 2600. Which not great for general ship
aimbots.
things, but you know. And yeah, another crew member is going to come in here and try to help out the hacker. Yeah, so their comp mesh is in crisis. They're not. They're having some trouble. The enemy try and close the gap on you with their navigation, and they do so at breakneck. So they're gassing it. They're caramel gassing it, and they're gonna add one. They're adding a fracture to their own propulsion.
Ooh.
And yeah, they're going to in as part of that side action, they're rolling operate. They're adding a +1 modifier, which overcomes the -1 of the thrust. They're now just making their approach on you.
Damn. They out here.
Okay, they get enough to move 1 encounter unit, putting them at 0 encounter units from you. Okay.
Are they gonna try to board us while we're zipping by?
Well,
Seems ill-advised.
you see the STS grapnel tether rotate towards you.
Oh boy.
And yeah, it has drop off, but they're at 0. And yeah, an enemy marine aboard their vessel tries to skewer you.
This is very rude. Don't they know who we are?
With it, which has a modifier of 2, so they're going to make their ballistics roll a modifier of 2.
I mean, I guess
Okay,
we're
so
spies,
Pat,
so
there's an
they don't know
incoming
who we are.
hit, and they want to stick you like a whale on Whale Wars. We know how sad you get when the whales die on Whale Wars. So, what do you want to do? You're piloting the whale.
I've never once in my life watched Whale Wars, but do I get a reaction whereby I might evade using a side action?
Yeah, so
operate, take a series
here's-
of evasive maneuvers.
Here are the options before you in terms of that shit. So evading.
Oh, it's sorry, pivot.
Yeah.
I'm
So
bad.
evading is
Sorry.
something that you would have need to already done, and I don't think you guys have any countermeasures, so you can't pop any
No,
of
we
those.
definitely didn't step into
Yeah.
evade. I'm sorry,
Right.
I meant pivot.
Yeah, so you can pivot. You can pivot. So what happens is the hit is now inevitable upon you, basically. So let me roll to tell you where it is. Right now, it is going to strike you. This like grapnel tether is going to burrow into your comp mesh.
Oof, ouch. Don't want that.
Yeah. If you reroll, you can test operate to pivot the ship, and then it'll strike a different part of the ship, and you can twist to defer damage into fractures. And yeah, so basically, you could greatly reduce the hull damage done here if you get a lot of successes. You could turn it all into fractures, and then someone else could hoover all those fractures up, fix them, and then no real damage would wind up getting done.
Perfect. And this is a grapple they're throwing at us?
A grapnel. Yes.
Okay, so if it... Wait.
It's like a space harpoon. They're shooting
Okay.
a two-pronged
Excellent.
space harpoon
Okay,
at
but-
you to... Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So if I reduce it to fractures, does that mean it actually sticks into our hull?
I would say that if you reduce it to nothing...
I mean, either way, I'm going to have to make this roll, but...
If you reduce it to nothing, then their grasp on you might be weak or something. Okay, so...
I'm going to go up an edge.
Alright, okay.
And -2.
And remember, remember, there's 2 power allocated to the bridge right now. So everything you're doing is at a +2.
Oh, fuck me. All right, cool. That's
So
going to be roll 2d6.
Although I will say you've already gotten all the successes that, okay.
2d6. Okay. Yeah.
So basically, you
cool.
cause it to joink against you. Roll me a d6 to determine the new hit location. Roll me a
Better or
d6
worse?
again. It can't
Yeah.
get to the same location. It sticks into your propulsion.
No, that kind of sucks.
You defer both of. Well, actually, now roll 5d6. Wait, no, roll 2. Sorry, roll 2d6 for your armor.
Okay, rolling 2d6. Nice.
All right, so there are currently 2 fractures in your propulsion. The next time anytime you take damage, the propulsions pop. I'm gonna say with all those successes, the grapnel tether winds up like grabbing at some of your like antennas and like nicking them and then drawing back. They don't wind up really grabbing you, except for one, which winds up like loosely on the edge of like a radar dish outside your ship. And this results in basically the last of their people who can go is someone who's going to try and, you know, do their best to not have their fucking ship die. They use a tool for this purpose. Well, you don't always succeed. That's due to the 2 people having to resolve the crisis. That's their ship's whole turn. It's back to your turn. Your 0 encounter unit's out, and it's back to you. You got 2 fractures on your ship, and the enemy's looking kind of fucked up. What do you want to do?
I told you guys they're idiots. They can't even repair their life support. Now they can't even repair their, what is it, comp mesh? Like,
Yeah, and bear in mind, when you come around the dark side of the, like, if you can make it to the edge of this map, which is 10 encounter units away at the moment, you will, you make 7 encounter units away down to this, like, lip here, right? Or 6, or, you can enter into, like, a more direct communication with the, like, the broader, you know, like, system, and things could be observed by telescope, and it's incredibly unlikely the Red Jay would pursue you beyond that point.
Do we go for a complete success here, or do we make it so that they can't pursue us without detection?
It sounds to me like no witnesses. This is a
We did just
sneaky
blow our
boy
load,
operation.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, cock, blow your load.
So, speaking about that, I'll have to reload the railgun.
Yep,
But-
you made a full drop of it.
From here, is it possible to use the particle beam?
Yeah, so no, not where you are. The particle beam is shot in the
Yeah.
bridge. So basically, and also, so like reload, right? Reloading a ship weapon is a main action.
Yeah.
So you didn't get rapid reload, did you?
I do not have that.
Okay, so basically, here's where you're at. If you stay to reload, yeah, you could run down to the bridge and hop on the particle beam. You couldn't shoot it right now. Unless you didn't reload and you relied on one of your teammates coming up here to reload the gun for you. Are you the kind of action hero heroine who drops a smoking gun and then like pulls out another one?
So, I gotta ask about the particle beam. I noticed that it doesn't have damage.
It is
and
a
it does disable.
It's a disabling weapon. It doesn't harm the. It's used to try and tackle ships without having to, like, kill them, because the Trinity doesn't tend to just blow people up if they don't have to.
Yeah.
It fries the electricals on their ship. It will cause. It'll cause crises on the enemy ship, and enough crises, or if you get one of their systems destroyed, like if you hit the comp mesh, and you with that particle beam,
Or if I hit the propulsion.
yeah, right now you could fuck up propulsion.
Yeah.
But what you could do is you could render the comp mesh. You could render them brain dead. You render the ship brain dead completely without like automated support, and it would barely be functional. And then they would be fully vulnerable to you. So you see how on their tracker basically they're at the middle ground on comp mesh. You could knock it to D. But
Yeah,
unlike like if you hit them with a railgun, you'd blow their comp mesh out into space. With this, you're just frying it with a particle beam.
Okay, so it could be fixed in theory.
Yeah, but when a component is
Not now.
normally that's an outside of combat kind of
Okay.
thing. I think the players do have a way to do it.
And because they're in touching distance, so using the torpedo is a bad idea.
Yeah. Whereas so touching distance means you take the explosion splash. You wouldn't take any splash from the asteroid buster, which would just shoot like a metal ball that explodes at them. But the particle beam gives you a better mod. Drop off has issues at range, but you're at 0 EU.
we're
There
at
is
0
no
range.
range. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to give them
So-
a point blank particle glisten?
Yes, I think that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to ditch the railgun for now, run over to the bridge, get on the particle beam, and do an
Do a heck and shoot a Reno.
aim shot at the comp mesh, I believe, will be the best idea.
An aim shot to the comp mesh. If you hit that and you manage to fully ignore and you manage to get through their armor, you will leave their ship brain dead. Actually, I think that the particle beam might. I'm gonna check something about the particle beam, but
Okay.
it's a fine choice. You could make other choices. I would point out, right now they have 4 fractures on their ship. They have 6 hull left on their ship. If you hit them anywhere and dealt 2 damage, those would all pop, and they would go down to 0 hull. And that would trigger a hull crisis. That's another way to do it if you want to be more destructive. If you want to be surgical and minimize quote-unquote civilian casualties, you don't know who these people are yet, then you would use the particle beam solution.
Surgical. Do it.
Yeah. I think
If
we're going to do
there's
the
any
particle
consultation
beam
between
on
us.
the comp mesh and on
Yeah,
the comp mesh.
Oh,
So
you-
that will
Bring it up, you bring it to
use that
bear.
mod 1.
You see glue foam plotting like expanding funhouse splotches of
Are you
gluey
fucking
ooze.
kidding?
Is that
So,
with the +2?
is that well, here's the thing. That
it'd be
bridge
a-
is for bridge actions. For weapons, it needs to be independently on the weapon.
Ah.
I would say Kulger.
I was
Question.
assuming the
Kulger, would you want to move power before that?
I would definitely move power for. I assumed like, oh sweet, I don't have to do this. I can wait for.
No,
Finley
sorry.
and, like,
I
keep your
should have spelled that one out for you. No, weapons are per
Oh.
weapon.
I would switch one from railgun and one from bridge to have 2 at particle beam, and then put the third one to cop mesh
All right, so
as my main action.
all right, so
So
Zhivka.
just give you 2.
Zhivka, you get
additional
2 more
d6.
d6. Yeah, so roll 2 more d6 and see how they do.
You do have 1 success, but at the very minimum. Oh wow. Well,
All right. So my question now
Holy
is:
shit.
Can we spend a processing in spite of that?
You could spend a processing. Zhivka could also reach.
No, wait, but with the.
That's a success. Zhivka got a success on
Oh.
her edge dice. That's not.
I'm
That's
being
not an
oblivious.
entropy. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
good.
being,
Yeah.
bleh, being oblivious.
So it came up good. So Zhivka is getting 1 success right now. It's just do you want to you could take a processing for the reroll. You could gain an edge for the reroll. You could stand as you are and see if you're going to. I'm just checking if you ignore armor when you're using a
yeah, 'cause we're
disabling
not
weapon.
affecting
Well, it doesn't
damage.
have damage.
No, the disabling doesn't damage the hull. And yeah, so it doesn't have any AP. Yeah, so they are still going to get their 3 armor roll. Each armor roll they get is going to subtract 1 of your successes, so their armor could pull them out. But otherwise, right now, if none of their armor succeeds, you've got them. And assuming the pilot doesn't choose to pivot and change where you're hitting.
Yeah.
Push, push, push. We are a family who push.
So, what does pushing do?
Or edge, I mean.
Or
Sorry.
So reaching,
okay.
reaching.
Reach.
Can I
We're a family who
Reaching
reaches.
is when you gain another
one.
edge and then you re-roll all your dice that missed.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Fuck it. We live in a dangerous world. So
We live in a society.
This reduces my modifier by 1, correct?
Yes.
No, because what you should do is this time actually just don't add your edge dice because you wouldn't re-roll a successful edge until after you've made the
Okay.
roll. but you normally add it before, if you see what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
But
Okay,
you still add your
so-
+2 from power.
Yep. You'll get the
Okay.
+2 from power.
So +2, then
Wait,
I hate this. I'm bad at math.
wait, I don't understand what just happened. Like, so her.
Okay,
the
so
character-
listen. Okay, so your particle beam is giving you a mod of. Okay,
Yeah.
you figured out your role.
F4.
Okay,
'cause
you fucking you,
minus
alright.
3.
You tag them. They need to roll 666 to not get tagged right now.
Amazing.
They don't do that. I'm questioning whether or not their pilot would choose to pivot at the. Actually, I think their pilot ran to try and fix the comp met. No, the captain did that. The pilot acted. I think that their pilot will attempt to pivot.
Okay.
They have a -1 because their thrust's -1 and they've had no time to take any action that's going to help them here. They don't overtake you, so I actually question my own rules here. Let me just verify something. So basically,
This is as much a campaign as it is a playtest.
all right, I'm rolling another d6. When a hit is inevitable, on a success, yeah, she's not contesting you. She's just trying to twist it. Okay, so wait a minute. Does AIM say anything about this?
Aim?
On a hit, the struck location suffers the weapon's damage. The extra twist may not be taken. No, I was just making sure that there wasn't something like you can't pivot if someone took an aim shot. No, they can. So, the hit now goes to their reactor, which enters a crisis.
Amazing.
Their reactors entered a crisis, and you are seeing rising levels of background radiation around the reactor. Their comp mesh is still in crisis. You have shot the particle beam. It doesn't need to be reloaded because that's not how it works. And that is so okay. Holger, you've taken your main action. I think normally I have people take their whole turns, but I see what you're doing here. You're splitting your main and your side action, right?
Yeah, I was thinking because there's a side action to repair, and there's also a side action to allocate power. So I was gonna balance between main and side action because side action is a chance, main action is guaranteed.
I think you have to. I think that in future you'll have to like do your personal whole go at once. But for this instance, I will let you split that. Do you want to do it now, or do you want to wait until Blue, East, and Finley have gone?
No, it's okay. I can say that I did my whole thing and my turn will be over. That's fine.
No, dude, give us the roll. Give us the roll to show people what it's like.
No, it's okay. I mean, it would just be I move 1 power, so
All right.
grand scheme of things, I didn't have a big thing in
Yeah.
mind.
So, all right. Does Blue, East, or Finley going?
I want to get on the comps, so I think I'm going.
Yes, you.
I-
Ale.
You know the
Papa-
comms. Surrender, fuckers.
All right. So
Yeah,
Arikon,
no, that's basically what I'm doing.
so Arikon is not on the con because she's spoiler warning trying to go fix a crisis right now. And
Yeah.
their communications are in disarray, so nothing's really getting routed. The only person you see is the human pilot, who says, "So you really are one of Druin's rat moths. I shouldn't be surprised. To think they've sunk this low to try and take us out."
Stop all hostile action towards us. Jettison any remaining weapons into the void. We'll collect them at our discretion. Cease all hostile actions, and we
Our
will
ships don't.
engage in
Our
conversation.
guns don't have an ejection button built into them. What do you think this is? The movies?
Most guns don't.
All right. Cease all
I
hostile.
chime in.
action.
I'm coming over the line. Sorry, pilot's high. Just stop being dick, please.
I'm
Bye.
speaking into my vape.
All right. So
Cease all hostile
Finley,
action.
from the comp mesh, you could, if you want to spend like your main action, attempt to parlay. Otherwise,
I will attempt to parlay. I'll be like, hello. Follow our terms or we shoot you again. We shoot you again, you die.
roll me a communicate.
It's a really great communication strategy, I find.
Okay. So yeah, you You come up against the human pilot, and the human pilot, she throws up her hands and she says, "I'm not trying to die here. We'll live to fight another day." And she says, "All right, everyone, we're fucked." She actually has an intercom button. Says, "Everyone, we're fucked. They're offering us to surrender." And you hear someone yell back, "They're not gonna let us get away after Druine opened fire with a hidden railgun." And then the human pilot's gonna say, "You actually work for Druine?
No?
And why did you shoot at us?"
I thought you were gonna shoot at us.
We knew you were
Oh,
going
so
to
you're
shoot at
just
us.
gonna
Come on.
Oh, I see. how
No,
it is.
bullshit. You say you're hanging out here. This is a classic pirate trap. We don't buy a fucking word
Fine,
yourself.
fine. So you just happen to be delivering Druine's parts. You don't work for the Druine dynasty. All right, fair enough. I believe you. Fuck it. And
Yeah, you're pirates, right? Like, come on.
No,
You got
we're
the
not
hidden railgun
pirates.
And everything.
What? No, we don't have a hidden railgun.
Or what? Sorry, what
Yeah,
was the
we haven't-
weapon?
We have the hidden railgun.
They,
back.
they only have non-lethal weapons except for their asteroid gun.
Yeah, you have a hidden. Wait, no.
Yeah, and as this happens, you actually get an
They have
intermission
a-
breakout right as you're trying to talk, and you
I
see
have a hidden
like
weapon.
you see a 10:40 p.m. Eastern back 10-minute break beginning. So we'll catch you all. They did have two. They had a hidden weapon and a hidden transponder drone swarm, which in retrospect
Yeah,
they
sorry.
really
So I would
should
say you
try
have
to
a
use.
hidden, X weapon.
Mhm.
Chill.
Sorry, real quick. Is this open comms or between the ships?
I believe
Everybody-
so.
I
But-
think that
The
our
DM is
Rast is doing the
gone.
parlay and I'm interjecting because I'm a
Okay.
prick and I'm in
So-
the pilot seat.
When we come back, I also like to interview.
I'll be right. I'll be back. Yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough. They're not pirates. I bet you they're fucking freedom fighters. Ugh.
Yeah, it sounds to me like the rebels with a cause.
Rebels with a cause. We fucked up.
I mean, I don't think I think they were ambushing us.
They were. They
The
totally
question
were.
is
They were gonna take us.
whether or not we should have asked more questions before we. I mean, honestly, I think it worked out. We didn't kill them. I was totally for. You broke out comms, and I figured, okay, we can talk with them a bit. But I was saying we should just kill them all. But now that they might be rebels, I'm saying maybe let them live.
You don't say.
That being said, I suspect they won't know what the parts are for, because I don't think Lee would make this campaign that easy.
Probably not. No.
I don't know if anyone's still listening at this point, but I have an important public service announcement. I have recently tried some Cuban rum. That isn't a public service announcement, it's a prelude to the public service announcement. It's one of those like old commercials in England saying don't move scissors or whatever. Yeah, I made it into a daiquiri. It was very, very nice. Very, very nice. And I just want everyone to know, there's a lot of things in life that are hyped up just because they're rare or exclusive or, unobtainable or otherwise desirable, but they're not actually necessarily inherently to their own characteristics good. A lot of food is like that. There's some
Zach,
stuff where it's
don't
like,
realize I'm leaving. I'm gonna go do my.
that's fair. I'm talking to the chat, and the
The
chat
last
is
person
hearing
who
me.
might have been listening is okay.
Yeah,
If
it's
the
fine.
chat's
It's
listening-
perfect.
If the chat can hear, if everything's good
The
there.
chat's gotta hear. Probably.
All
I
right,
think they
chat.
hear us during
You're
the
gonna
break.
hear. You're gonna hear this. I'm going.
Well, damn it.
I'll be back.
All I want to say is it lives up to the hype. That's all I'm going to say. I should have said that. I was much more succinct. But I don't do succinct. I do rambling. Because, Lord, I was born a rambling man. Trying to make a living and doing the best I can. And when it's time for leaving, I hope you understand. I was born a rambling man. So for ages, I figured okay, he's rambling. He's a rambly sort of guy. He rambles when he talks. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? And then I found out that rambling is like a sort of hiking in England. And so, like, a rambling man could be, to mean, like a drifter. Potentially. It's a bit of a stretch, I'll admit. But it makes more sense than I tend not to be very succinct. Hello. I was just entertaining the chat by talking about the song Rambling Man.
Hey, it probably helped if I unmuted myself. I was speaking, but yet I was not. So I guess when we come back, the question will be, should I stay on the particle beam or try and use the asteroid buster?
Well,
At
it
this
sounds
point-
like they might not be enemies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we don't know this.
I would go back to the railgun though, because I'm still not entirely sure even if they are enemies, we want them living.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna
So
say.
I would say get on the railgun so we can do another big old chunky shot right in their belly if we need to.
Hello? Have you seen all my rolls? Even though I have like 14 rolls, they don't do shit apparently.
You
Well,
just
if
add some
someone
rock
doesn't
luck.
understand how probability works, you gotta roll next time.
Jesus. I love it. But yeah, no. The railgun would probably be a good idea. Honestly, even with the asteroid buster, I don't even if we do want to kill them, if I just don't aim and just kind of just shoot them middle, as long as I don't hit their life support on that D6, it's gonna fuck something up.
Okay, hear me out.
Any
Hear me out
damage
here,
to the
right?
ship pops all fractures.
Yeah. Oh, and all
Perfect.
fractures. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I said do that then.
Yeah, I was gonna say they will have a destroyed propulsion, a destroyed comp mesh, their hull will have a fracture. They're gonna be in pain.
Yeah, I was considering for a minute before this fight started proposing that we try to aim for the comp mesh first, because I figured if they call for help, they won't be able to call for help.
Yeah, is that a
But
combination? Is there
maybe, I don't know.
an external document for all these actions and stuff? Or
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the,
it's linked to the top of provisional document. Also, bear in mind that, like, Mother is watching, and even though she's not gonna, like, rat on you to, like, people who are trying to, like, blow your cover, Trinity Fleet Intelligence is not supposed to murder people who have stood down. You're
don't know
still
that.
doing this under the yes, you as Trinity Fleet Intelligence officers, you would know that.
No.
You can't commit a war. You're not even at war. It wouldn't even be a war crime. You just be murderers.
Bandits. Bandits.
Like, banditry.
They're bandits.
Acts of bandit. Well, no.
They are
I mean, why don't we just sprinkle a little bit of crack on them?
Yeah, no, that's
They're
not going to work
pirates.
in Trinity.
Pirates.
I mean, you can say what you will, but if you've just negotiated a surrender and they're standing down, you could have claimed you could have claimed that you'd taken down your enemy previously, but at the moment they're standing down.
Okay, I have a plan. I have a genius plan. We just say so many mean things to them that they attack us.
All right, so
Oh
Alright,
yeah, I'm
so-
not gunslinger, so that's why I don't
so we're down a Shin and we're down a Pat, yeah.
Yeah,
we
we
got
got by the
it.
hairs of my shin.
All right, let's go.
Let me see what craziness I did to actually make this character sheet. I'm double checking I didn't do something stupid. No, okay. No, okay, I'm just good. I'm good. I'm good.
I love the dulcet sounds of the street outside.
It's just motorcycles. Literally every other car you can't even hear, like from me sitting here. But some person with an incredibly small penis will drive by on a motorcycle with an exhaust the size of their head, which isn't very big. No, I like motorcycles. I think motorcycles are cool, and motorcycles do pass by without issues. There's just some people who like to go up and down this street in particular that are very proud of the fact that their engines are very loud. And they're bad people.
It's okay. I just laugh at people with loud cars because either they're designed to be loud or they're designed inefficiently, because that's a lot of waste of power.
Yeah, I mean, it's if someone drove by in like a Ferrari and it was a bit loud, I would be like, that's okay. I got to look at a Ferrari. That was worth it. Trade off 10 seconds of noise, get to look at a cool car. Decent deal.
Hey, you know the
always someone in like they're always like Hondas, and
well, I think you know why? It's because they replaced their exhaust to make it louder.
I mean, yeah, it's just modified cheap cars, and I'm like, these,
you know the
these make it
sputtering. You know the sputtering in cars. You know, like when like a car like downshifts or whatever, and they go noise.
Yeah, backfiring.
Yeah. Do you know that engines are so efficient that there's actually a very, very tiny fuel nozzle that just kind of like spits fuel, so it purposely burns off like that?
And in some like hypercars, they literally have a special mechanism to inject fuel into the exhaust in a particular way to make it shoot flames out the tailpipe.
Yeah.
Which I think is totally worth it.
Yeah. But I mean, it's such a small amount of fuel; it's insignificant.
It is kind of crazy how efficient, even like not particularly efficient cars, how efficient they really are as a thing. Like, you fill a box this big with a liquid, and like that'll take you to the halfway across the country.
Halfway across the country.
Depends on the size of your car and your economy. I don't know. It depends on which country.
They might take you across the
Not
state.
America.
I can get a solid on a complete fill of gas. I could probably get through at least 2 states near where I live. Vaguely.
There's some close borders near where you live. Not
That doesn't
Not
count.
particularly anymore.
You don't live in a big honka tonka state.
I mean, yes, I'm not like in the middle of Texas. I'm willing to say that. So yes,
Texas, I
but
think,
like
is like
even
8
then,
hours.
if I lived in Europe, I could probably leave the country I lived in on 1 tank of gas.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
With my
Europe
current
is
car.
so tiny. Remember?
But I'm just saying that's a fairly significant. That's more with one box of juice. You can go further than like a person in the Middle Ages could have been a week if they didn't have a horse.
Yeah, but don't worry. You can go from Berlin to Warsaw in 1 tank.
God damn it.
So, we ready? On
Yeah,
that note,
is Pat back?
Pat's not back.
No, Pat's not back.
Want to be
More
famous?
Hey, you wanna become
No.
famous?
Ooh,
I
I
want
wanna
to be.
be
I want to be
famous.
banning the fucking bots. Ah!
You ever just like poke yourself underneath a nail? It really hurts.
Yeah. Thanks for
It's
the
really
info.
good. You should try it sometime. Where are my phones?
So, in 1 minute, if Pat's not back, we're just gonna keep going.
Wow.
Wow.
Is that Pat sounds?
Wow.
No, that's doggo. That's doggo sounds. Doggo, 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 doggo.
Oh, you can hear the dog.
I heard like a little
I
like
mean-
thing. I didn't know if it was like a door jangling near Pat. I think it was like the doggo's
I
collar.
think that might be a door now.
Nah.
That was bullshit tapping the table. All right. It's 10:44 still, so in a minute. When the minute ticks over. We're having a wonderful time here on Diesel Shot. Don't forget, we've got a Discord, YouTube channel, all that jazz. We are going to end our break now. It's been 15 minutes. We return to the Parley Vu Francais, Finley using his main action to initiate proceedings with the human pilot. They seem to be, they've stood down and they're not firing any weapons in particular. Weapons officer Jrika, right? I'd say one cool, fun insight you might have based on insight that your friend has given you is that they do have a transponder drone swarm countermeasure. So if you were to pull the trigger on them, assuming they're being cautious, they might be ready to pop that. But they're not, like, pointing any weapons at you. They're not doing anything offensive. If you see what I'm saying. There is still the small matter of a grapnel tether barely, like, hooked around one of your radar dishes, however, outside. If you went really fast, you just snap it off.
Over the comms, if that's still open, Colger will ask, hi, this is Colger. Do you guys have anyone or anything injured? Do I need to go over there to fix it?
They're like, none of us are personally injured, but our ship is pretty fucked on account of the bullets and the particle beam.
You mean your life support that you couldn't fix?
No, the life support's fine. That was a pretext.
So you are liars that don't pay for fixes.
We pay. Who says it? We don't. We pay people. What do you mean? Someone's like, hey, listen. All right, this isn't about the money. This is about what's really happening with that cargo. Because I can tell you this:
No.
the
This is
Dream
about you
Dynasty.
lying.
The Dream Dynasty is lying to you. All those nanomachine foundries aren't going into making traditional Thren garments.
What are they going into making?
Well, that's why we were going to intercept the shipment to find out.
I don't know. That doesn't sound like a very sound plan.
Alright, what's the deal?
Can you imagine trying to find out where these are going by having the shipment? Doesn't make any sense. Good day.
We see where the shipments go, but that's not enough information, Blockhead. That's why we wanted our hands on the merchandise. We want to know what they could be doing with it.
No.
Look, we're just trying to get paid here. We're trying to deliver a package.
Fine.
We have a guarantee. It says package delivered.
Yeah. I get it.
Pizza.
You're the fucking male. Have a good time. We're surrendering. You do what the fuck you want. We'll leave you alone. All right. We obviously need to skip town now that this has just happened in front of the fucking satellites. But listen, the Dwayne Dynasty. Let's just say that you're mixed up in something big, like colossal wall big.
Colossal like wall, as in like a vertical flat structure.
And the human pilot kind of turns off the intercom and is like, listen, they're just being a bunch of blockheads, all right? The captain's about to be back. Archon comes up. And so are you guys actually going to exit, like, enough time has passed, like, are you guys going to exit combat and permit them to do whatever they're going to do on their ship as they talk to you? Because they're presumably going to try and fix their damaged reactor.
At this point, they're not going to try to kill us anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so...
I do think we're gonna drift
I
away
will
from
reload.
Yeah, all right.
I will reload the railgun.
I'm continuing
you
to
reload,
move away.
you reload, you drift. They do not pursue you at all. They cut engines. They do try and talk, however, and Archon says, listen, the Druine family has a vested interest in events here, and their scion, while they show a friendly face, there's more to this story. I think... She kind of like hesitates for a moment. She's, never mind. You're just trying to get paid. It's of no concern to you.
I mean, hey, you know, we like a good story time, and there's a morality clause in our contracts.
Story
And she says, I've already told you too much. You could tell this to your employer.
Tell them that something big's going on, and it's a bit. I mean, sure, but I don't think it's going to convince them of anything. It's not really enough detail.
Yes, which is why we don't want them to know what we know.
But how will they know?
Their
they're
comp
doing
mesh
it?
returns to a healthy state. She's gonna say, well, I don't, I mean, you said yourself, your only motivation here is to get paid. Why wouldn't you?
That's a good
I don't know about
point.
you, but my motivation is
They
to
might have
fix
said that.
things. I fix whatever people ask me to fix.
Fair enough.
Again, do you
Weirdo.
need fixing? You guys couldn't fix your life support earlier, so
Another person comes on the
can
comm
you
and
fix
they're
your
like,
own ship?
Was that part wasn't?
the weevilish wheeze of a double-lunged Veer voice calls back, we could fix our ship just fine. Send your own herd.
No!
And yeah, the reactor also comes to normal signals at around that time.
I do want to interject and say, look, some of us may here be motivated by money, but I'm not. And I'm the one flying the ship. Is there
Well,
a reason that I shouldn't fly it to its destination? You gotta let me know.
And Archon kind of looks at you, and she's like trying to gauge how much to say and whether or not she can kind of like convert you. And you aren't necessarily being. Roll me a communicate.
Okay, fair enough. You know, while I'm doing this, I say, my mother was a advocate for separation, and I'm just trying to undo all the.
You're
wrong
pulling the
things she
same
did.
exact stunt I was about to. I'm glad you did it instead of me,
All right,
because I didn't
so-
want to clog the screen time anymore, but I was about to be like, shh, listen, I'm from Steyer Steeple. I'm in with you guys. Let me know the info.
All right, so okay, so you
Trying to undo the wrong.
yeah. So, well,
perfect.
and they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean by separation?
Well, she was a human separatist.
Oh, that kind of separate. That's a very bad kind of separatism. I see what you see. You're trying to do right,
just
and
trying
I
to-
appreciate that.
Trying to do right by the world.
All right,
Trying to do right by the galaxy.
I'll tell you what I know. Those foundry parts don't all make it to the factories, and at least some of them go on shuttles bound for a certain wreck. Trust me, you can't miss it. Out in the seas and the flats. I don't know where they go from there. But I do know this. Viraja Druin kind of looks around. She thinks about it. You got 3 communicate successes. I'm assuming you're twisting this all into really making her trust you, right?
Yeah, like I'm putting all my cards on the table so far as she knows.
Yeah.
Playing her straight. And I am being honest.
She's gonna lean in and she's gonna say, Raja Duin plays friendly with everyone, but I think they're trying to screw both sides. The Steeple people who just want to be left alone, the Trinity bureaucrats trying to keep things in order and balance the books. They've got fingers in both pots, but their designs don't match either. Something about the way that they move, everything happens. I've been staring at it for so long, I can't say, but you see like a little bloop data packet arrive. You get a +1 red tack and string hologram map of the capital region. And she just says, I just think there's. And then the human pilot's like, oh, don't show them the crazy map. They're gonna look crazy, Archon. And you know what they're gonna say? And she's like, listen, I've got this handled, Melissa. They're gonna say, oh, you're just a bunch of crazy F3 Luna. And she slaps her mouth shut. And she's like, anyway, have a great day. And she closes the hailing frequency. And they remain inert as you drift. And I'm assuming you just wanna break away.
I think we learned more than we came here for.
Yeah, all right. So you.
Yeah, holy shit, that was a great move there. Once I'm done with the comp, I should probably climb back up and it'd be like, good job. You get to keep your legs.
Yeah.
So we're
So.
not.
I was not worried that you could enact such designs upon me.
So you.
Finley
Yeah.
puts on the biggest puppy dog eyes I've ever seen, and he's like, you didn't believe in me?
As orbits and atmospheres
No.
work here, you're losing your final chance to shoot at the Red Jay. Although I would reiterate, like you're about to come into full view of the very galaxy. There's still those Atmos satellites. Like there'd be recordings of you shooting a surrendered ship.
I mean, like, first off, there's no reason for us to shoot at them. Second off, if they're F3, you know, we could be like doing some sort of initiating war act by attacking them. So
Yeah, undercover
better
Trinity
not
ship
to.
kills F3 crew is what one could call an inciting incident. Or a
I don't
cast
know.
of
Lee.
fire.
I've been watching the first 2 seasons of The Expanse again, and like lots of ships get blown up, and they don't go to war until like season 3.
All right, so it's the shadows of
Right,
F4.
but a lot of ships already have blown up in this universe.
Right, so it's the Far Shore system, right? You are behind F4, Movius.
Okay, I'm calling it. The bad guys are on Abaddon. I mean, come on.
On the far side from Curvix. Yeah, there's
Look at that shit. Tell me I'm wrong.
So yeah, you see the 6 sisters over Vrushanak, and far F5 beyond the asteroid belt, you see gloom. This on like you know,
that's where the
Star
bad guys are.
But yeah, Styro Steeple is close in, and it's white sands and it's migratory seas visible. You're not the moon Curvix. You fly, and you guys are back aboard your ship. It's gonna be like, well, first of all, do you want to send any messages?
Did you just say moon's Curvix?
There's a moon called
The
Curvix.
moon is called Curvix.
Okay, I thought you
Not
were
what you're
mispronouncing
thinking.
cervix.
No, not the moon's cervix. Curvix doesn't have a
We
cervix.
didn't go into the moon.
Yeah, so you guys, you're back aboard your ship, and I mean, in theory, you are where you were, but I'm assuming you guys come back for a huddle after a moment. You guys have like 10 hours out of combat. You can let your edge cool off unless you would like stay hype, and you'll regenerate your ship's
Cool.
processing. You managed to get out of that without any damage. Not that they were going to use lethal weapons, so you know, you weren't going to take any. Anyway, really, do you guys send any messages forward to the planet, and which you know will arrive in like 6 hours, or anything like that, or are you just sort of like tuning to the various news broadcasts that are bouncing around the mesh?
2 questions. Do we
Also,
have
I
any
lost someone's
contact?
camera, and now the cameras are fucked. There's a button that
Fuck!
makes you invisible.
Oh, no.
If
No,
anybody
he
wants to-
Shin is not in the call. I don't think.
No, he is.
Oh,
There's,
Shin
an,
is
there's,
returned.
there's an unknown muted user. Okay, I just had to shuffle him.
I disconnected.
All right. So as I shuffle the cams, what's
I mean, I would tune into whatever space like the equivalent of
Oh,
like
I don't see
CNN
Max
is.
now.
No, Shin, you can't see me.
Wait, did Max also disconnect?
No, he didn't.
No.
He's here and he can hear and see you.
I cannot hear him if he's talking.
No.
Well, that makes it awkward for having the players talk phase, but fortunately, just kind of.
I could try
Start.
BCDC.
Okay,
No,
switch it?
please don't, because I'm trying to fucking arrange the cameras.
Well, if I disconnected, wouldn't that put me in the last slot again?
Yeah, so you could reconnection, but
No,
Max
yeah.
don't.
All right, trying it now.
Lee, get down to the comp mesh. We need it sorted.
Oh my god.
Amazing. So I had 2 questions for the GM.
Yeah.
1, do we have any contacts on the planet? And 2, generally speaking, if one is delivering goods, does one announce themselves as soon as they get into the system, or does one?
Yeah, well, so your mother unit will just, unless you've deliberately told Night Blossom not to, right? We'll let them
gone
know,
through it.
like, you know, enter the system package arriving. Night Blossom might confirm with you just because, you know, extenuating circumstances. But they're like, yeah, you know, I'm going to send on the message to let them know that we've arrived in the system to expect us in about 6 hours.
Indeed, give them their Amazon delivery update.
Yeah, of course. Well, actually, yeah. So I mean, you're gonna arrive like say, shortly after that, so they'll get their notification like an hour before you get there, because you know, it was a little faster than you. All right. Yeah, wait. This is Pat's cam. Okay. Good. Everyone's where they should be. Cool.
And Shane, can you hear and or see me?
I can hear you and see you.
Excellent. So,
Yes.
yeah. Do you guys have like a meet and greet like on like perhaps the bridge at this time, or anywhere else really? I mean, where do you guys think you'd meet up?
Colger would definitely be meticulously looking over every like mechanical room, make sure nothing's damaged, scratched.
You're fixing
Doing
up
the
ship.
Roomba walk.
You're doing the Roomba walk.
I see 4 seats in the kitchen around the table, and there are 4 of us. I think we should meet there.
Alright, well, Colger is busy checking things out in the mechanical rooms. You could meet in the kitchen.
Kitchen sounds good to me.
Alright,
Sure.
I say.
Alright, yeah.
As I make a traditional human meal for myself. You know, I start with a little packet of ramen, put the noodles in, drop a half a can of beans in. I already have like half a can of beans in the fridge.
The food fax machine handles most of the preparation for you.
Pop a little bok choy on top, let it steam for 3 minutes, and you know, add an assortment of my chosen spices, and boom, traditional human meal.
Colger, roll me a mechanics for your inspection spot
To
inspection.
work out the mechanics of that meal.
Oh, I don't like Max sometimes.
Most people don't. That's why I'm single.
Oof.
Huh? Wait. Oh no! Did that thing with your girlfriend?
No, actually, I'm not single, but it's funnier that
I'll
way.
shut up then.
For success.
Yeah, you got a super twist. Not only do you do such a great spot inspection of the ship that you manage to like get a great handle on it, but the next time that you make a ship repair test, you're gonna get an automatic success.
Hey.
Because you know the ship, you're up on its current conditions, how everything's flipped. But yeah, so Blue, East, Finley, and Zhivka sit down, and if you want, you can have like your headsets on, so you know Shin's character is involved in this conversation. But anything you want to say or do, and you are leafing through the first message that comes on like your slates is you see this image of massive Mirai megafauna drones towering over shallow waves and vomiting out Crete and lifting huge things onto these huge degraded seawalls. As you see the Chiron, Mirai Friendship Enterprises mandate expires as the last generation of drones pass. The embassy reports a permanent presence to remain on a reduced basis. As the first news story.
Presumably, we know what the fuck. Like, if this is a thing that's been going on for a
Yeah,
long
if you check
time,
Wikipedia-
it's a whole treaty.
Yeah, so basically,
Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia.
some of the hives nearer the border of Thren Federation space sent like a goodwill mission as part of their, like sisterly exchange program, and also to shore up things here in Styre Steeple. It was also sort of engineered with some queens as like this will make them like the Trinity more, and it will make it easier to do future business with them. It's worked out relatively well. And there are now Mirai mining operations on the Six Sisters moons above that other gas giant. As far as the queens are concerned, they got what they wanted out of it, and basically there's no queen here birthing new drones. The only the Mirai operations here have to rely on mechanical drones and aristocrats. They were using drones that like haven't graced other worlds since like they were used to kill the shit out of the human empire. That we're talking like megafauna mammoth tier, used for construction and vomiting up concrete and shit like that. They were doing it to shore up the shitty old human infrastructure on Styre Steeple, because, and some of the damaged Thren stuff that would still be operating normally by now if it weren't for, the human invasion and occupations. So yeah, that the Mirai Friendship Enterprise, it always had an expiration date because they were only going to send so many generations of drones because it's uneconomical and it doesn't really make sense to like just pump them out on another planet and then ship them in cold storage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's easier to just do that when you have a queen on planet and they don't have a queen on planet. It's been a success, and as far as you're aware, there was a slight increase in Mirai living on Styre Steeple, some of whom have chosen to stay behind, but the numbers are going to dwindle pretty rapidly as people mostly head home, get new assignments, or find out they're not really wanted at home and juggle whether or not they're going to do that, sign up for a Trinity organization, or perhaps make for Farhive, which is somewhere in the frontier right now, and they could presumably get to within the next 6-12 months. So that's not unexpected or new information. It's just the first thing on the news chyron.
All right.
Do we
So
know
after I
if
look at
there's-
Space CNN, the next thing I need to go to is whatever the Star Steeple equivalent of like a conspiracy theory radio nut job is.
All right. So Pat, what were you gonna say, Pat?
Yeah, I just had a minor question. Do we know if there's anything intended to replace the functionality of these megafauna drones, or are they just simply phased out because, you know, the work that they were doing is actually genuinely complete?
What
There's
you
no
know
further
is
need
that there
for
is
upgrades.
there's a god awful amalgamation of solutions, and unless you're a mother unit, you probably don't personally understand and know all of them and their effects. But roll me a systems.
Okay, sure. I mean, I'm just kind of curious, and I feel like my character tried to do her research before getting here.
Sure.
She is, of course, trying to do her part for the Trinity and trying to be a somewhat decent secret agent. Whoops! I rolled the wrong thing.
Oh, good. What's the
but,
dice difference?
I'm only short by one dice. So if you'd permit me to just do one roll 20.
Yeah, just roll a d6.
Okay, 1d6. Okay.
All right. So here's what you know in the basics.
I got one.
Jess. You know that the patchwork or the present patchwork is stable, and you know that a mix of old and new replacement parts are used to keep the human infrastructure that was not really tailor-made for this planet and kind of just bent to fit in operation, and the Thren infrastructure, which was made to fit, more rarely needs maintenance, and it's mostly just to adjust to the new atmosphere and environment that's been generated by the terraforming. But overall, you'd think that this was a relief upon logistical networks and a relief upon the strain of shipping random stuff. And I would say basic research would tell you a lot of parts in industry and other stuff here were sourced by the Orion Trading Company. But those seawalls and a lot of the other water drain stuff you see is all Dutch board tech.
Wait, seawalls.
Yeah, massive
Walls
seawalls dominate much of... In fact, if you do to see, like, the postcards that pop up as Max is trying to get to the internet and realizing they don't broadcast, like, the whole... Fuck, I saw shit again. Net every time they send a packet, is like a... It's like the Hoover Dam postcard, but the dam never ends and there are no cliffs up to the side. Big wall, some water down below, Steyr steeple. And, like, a little, like monograph of a steeple, because, you know, the real one was toppled and famously not rebuilt
Okay.
quite deliberately.
That seems like a comfortable place to live, constantly with the water looming over you,
Well,
ready
here's-
to rush in and full of sea
here's the
creatures
thing.
living in it.
That's not how it works.
Calm down.
There's a shallow, most of the time at deepest, like 5 to 10 feet ocean around this place, and the seawalls and other pumps and drains and things around influence where the migratory seas go.
That makes perfect sense.
So you don't
It's
li-
like that on Murad for
Yeah.
the most part.
So you don't live. There are this. In fact, you see the next thing on the news chyron is you see triumphant young people holding up banners with slogans like "Housing Review Now" and "Ain't Enough Lux for This" on banners. It says student-led sit-in at Peacekeepers headquarters in Quator Coda ends amidst promises for improved conditions. Local authorities blame sluggish response from Mother for the incident. Free Frontier Front leaders involved could not be reached for comment.
There does seem to be a
Frontier
large...
front? Come on.
Yeah, the F3. There does seem to be a large presence of them in this system.
Yeah, although you would know in this
Well-
system, the vast majority of them are like college kids and intellectuals, not the kinds of people you used to encounter. But there's a group of them because steeple people do value their independence, and some of them
That makes
think that F3 ideology is the path forward.
God, this is so deep.
Yeah, so I was like,
Guys, we've run into the space libertarians.
so
A lot of lore here.
No.
So yeah, so the you've determined about that much. Sorry, I feel like somebody had an open question that I wasn't answering. Pat, did you ask me something? Can you hear me, Shin?
Yep, I can hear now.
Awesome.
I don't know what's going
Nope.
on, but at least I have the last slot, so
Yeah.
The one other question that I asked was, and by the way, thank you for making this so lore intensive. It's amazing. And
We're not
I'm
even
very
halfway
much
through the news
enjoying-
broadcasts, and we're not even at the planet.
Oh, I
yet.
know. I'm like the
Do I need to take notes?
just kind of like thrilled at the depth of the lore here. I'm sorry, but anyway.
Unironically, me too.
Yeah, no, I know. Like Max and I are probably like hella geeking out because we've been on that lore junket from the beginning. I mean, like, you know, sorry, Shin and Bolter weren't in the very first episode of Change Stars. You came in close, Shin, on the third. But anyway, my first question was, do we have any contacts in the system?
Oh, right. Unless you have a special connection talent that lets you roll to have connections, I will say that the only contacts you have are TFI contacts. There is a way that you could reach out if you had an emergency or you need certain information and discover new TFI contacts on the planet. The only person you have, like, constant... the person you know going in, who is kind of, like, the middle person, is Staff Officer Jenkins. And Staff Officer Jenkins is stationed on the Trinity defense site on Zoe. Zoe is one of the 2 moons of Styre's Steeple, and it is also the main berthing of Trinity ships that come here that can't make planetfall because the moons.
Which presumably where will be.
Yeah, well, so you can berth on Zoe, but most people who are doing trade are going to one of the large starports, and you could also just park yourself in orbit and go down one of your 2 shuttles. Because your delivery is being made to an in-Atmos location. Also, the reason that I mentioned Quarter Coda is when that shot zooms out of the student movement, you see there's like a huge fuck-off dome arcology just plopped into the water with waves like insane sort of swooshing around the edges. And I would say with a basic level of research, you know that it's one of the store points in the Thren's side hat. Because you know that shit like that being dropped here is part of why the Thren title control and adjustment system doesn't work right. Or as intended.
Oh shit, so there's like basically an entire city in the middle of the ocean and
Of
that,
the equator.
that totally of the equator, and that totally fucks with the
multiple arcologies and facilities were dropped and built just around because most of this planet is migratory sea territory. Very little of it is naturally not. And while the Thren did have some buildings intended to go along with it, one of their major places they wanted to build was a beautiful garden, like where they could cultivate, as one would like in a vineyard, grapes, this one particular citrusy fruit, which they turn into a bomb-ass liqueur. And that never really fully came to fruition.
I can pull the food list Pat did ages ago. I need to know. I know what fruit you're talking about. It's killing me.
This is a new fruit, I think, unless Pat already had one that fit the profile.
No. Yeah, I haven't added it to the list yet.
Point
This
is
a new fruit.
Scorpio is halfway across, and Kulger, you've done a great job with your ship spot inspection. And yeah, that's about what's happened. If you guys want to, I mean, basically, I'm ready to skip you into entering the atmosphere unless there's something you would say or do ahead of time.
No, particularly. I would just inform Miss Blue that the ship is in good condition. Careful with the propulsions; they're a little sensitive, but she's good.
I'll do my best to keep her in tip-top shape, which is to say, how you left it to me. Thank you.
Better. All right.
I'll try.
All right, so yeah, so you guys, the Scorpio comes in and you rumble. You don't rumble through the atmosphere in the Scorpio. You guys have 2 options. You've got a Koi, and you've got a Raptor dropship. And
go with Koi.
And choice you can make. You have basically in your cargo hold, right? You see these big doors. There is a shuttle like nestled up as if though a baby bird under the wings. 2 different shuttles on your ship. You've got the Koi, and you've got the Raptor dropship. The Koi is kind of a fugly shuttle that has a crane intended for all sorts of deep space work and in atmosphere work. And you've also got the Raptor dropship, which is a converted like military vessel that was intended like 12 Marines would drop out the back of it, right? And it's got like a machine gun on it. Technically speaking, the civilian models were supposed to all have those taken, but you do have a low G 2410 that legitimates your ownership of one that's still armed.
Right, so like one's an attack fucking ship from the old human empire, and one's, you know, also from the old human empire.
But it's an Ito
but
Fortuna
an asteroid
ship.
mining.
Ito Fortuna. It is from the Japanese Italians. It is classy, except it's like the fuggliest thing they ever made, and the guy in charge of the company resigned over it, even though it was very efficient and sold well.
Yeah, it was the most efficient fucking you know, mining vessel slash fleet tender.
Yeah.
But it was ugly, so the person who made it resigned.
It had high requirements, alright? The Ito Fortuna board was exacting. Right up until they got, you know, captured and put on trial for war crimes. So,
It did happen.
Didn't happen.
yeah, so, yeah, I mean, you guys barrel in, I mean, you have to decide what fucking ship you're going in, and also
You're
someone...
going in the Koi.
Alright, so, are you guys really going in the core? You can make that choice. I
I'm
just need to
making
know.
the objective choice as
And
pilot to declare.
Why don't we just take the whole ship down?
This is not a
we
planetfall
crash and
capable
burn?
freighter.
Oh, what? Whack. Okay, yeah, the other one then.
Brentech.
Yeah, so the commune, so like the human empire would often make things planetfall capable with no particular reason. The commune of humanity, the Artemisian commune, doesn't make that decision.
I think my character for once has a snide remark towards the Trinity and says, you know, Brentech, at the concept that not all ships should be able to go planet side.
Yeah, freaking Thren.
Alright, so Kulger, presumably you guys taught this already, you had already, but there's many crates full of foundry components, right? That need to be moved. And you know what you have? You have ISP, or Industrial Service Platforms. One R, or atmospheric rated variant, for, you know, going out into the void, and one just regular. And it can be used to lift the fuck out of those crates if you'd like to.
Crates.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you're big enough that you could pick them up with your hands, and someone else could drive it to help you. It would otherwise be too squishy.
The other question is is the ISP large enough to fit a Veer inside?
Yeah, so there was, during the
Okay.
war, something called the Veer Served Vehicles, or VSV program. Let's just say the scientists involved in that got Operation Paperclipped by some people who'd go on to join something called the Vanguard of 1,000 Suns.
Oh yeah.
And the technology has proliferated, so yeah, it can fit a Veer. But yeah, by default, many vehicles will not permit you to, like, you couldn't sit in a regular car and drive it, for example.
But I mean, if I can use the ISP, then I would go ahead and use it.
Yeah, so Kulger loads in all of the foundry components. As a reminder on your briefing, y'all know these are bugged.
Okay, so we shouldn't say any treasonous stuff in front of them.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, we
they-
shouldn't have said that to begin with.
they're bugged with trackers.
Yeah, we're trying to get these to the right person.
That makes more sense. That's
Yeah.
a smarter move.
So you fill in the foundry components to here. You have a nice, you know, Ripley and Alien scene. And after you're all packed up, Kulger, yeah, you've got it all in, and this is entirely a routine job within your skill set. It takes like 10 minutes, and it's done. Anybody who wants to have, like, you know, been like taking the edge off, you can be at 0 edge by this point because it's been 10 hours. My tower third. And yeah, you guys are ready to go. You are, I would note, you've been awake for about 20, not 20 hours, but like you've been awake for 2 10-hour thirds at this point. So you're getting towards the time when you'd sleep. Like it feels like late afternoon for you. But there is a bright sun down below to the area that you're landing.
Well, luckily I'm not adjusted to that, and spaceships have curtains probably, or ports that close.
Hopefully.
Yes, one would think.
Yeah, so I'm not really going to show you the inside of the koi, even though like it definitely exists, because sorry, well, you were parking the ISPR, weren't you, or the ISP? All right, boom.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, you rocket down in through the atmosphere, and you come to this place. Pat, give me a operation, just a pilot in the atmosphere.
Hell yeah. Crack my knuckles, grab the throttle,
Yeah.
and freak the fuck out. No, I'm sorry,
So
I
you should-
didn't
yeah.
take my edge off.
So you do a pretty good job. You guys rattle in under. You see platforms in the water. You look out and you see rubber skirts over the edge of them. Hovercrafts, chained together like a grand convoy, a caravan of them. Mostly veer atop them, driving on their engines to great gill rest. An arcology that seems to have almost been like peeled like a banana and then built out from again in a mix of techno shanty. And you see a great herd full of people sprouting there near the waves. You see these levels where like it's definitely water, and some levels where it's like the water's constantly rushing around. Like there's a tide, but the tide is racing about. And it's a mix of dry and wet sands. Come out over a drier section. You see tall walls in the distance. You seek other kois as you get... Hey, you know your shock is this. Someone hails you and says, please register yourself. We are moving in with our kois to complete this cleat for the moment. We have to put a new one on it. Please give us your number and registration and lodge your flight. Do you have a lodge flight plan? We're not getting from your... And then you just freak out and you hit the hang up button just on instinct.
Okay, so initially I did that accidentally because I forgot to take my edge off. But I'm going to put the Mac up on and say that was entirely...
Oh, okay. Well, you basically,
that's
yeah.
fine.
They hail you and they're like, "What the fuck?" And you start to get a notice like peacekeepers are requesting that you comply with a hailing request.
Shit. Yeah, no, I forgot our manifest, or I forgot to send out our flight path. I hail them, or
they're like, we don't have a flight path scheduled. Do you know how many craft there are out there? And you do see some flying wings, as well in the distance, and other in-atmos vehicles, and you even see an envoy shuttle on your radar in the distance near Quarter Coda, which this is for us a very large city. There's also these islands around where there are some people living. On your just like your overhead map, you'd also notice in the capital region there is a vast crashed Thren dreadnought. It's husked shell healing in the light and sea waves. And yeah, you guys drive by one of the huge seawalls that has various koi clearing things to it. There are people on hovercraft platforms down below, including landing sites for stuff like helicopters and VTOL craft. And they're clearly putting in huge work on this infrastructure project. Lots of people with hard hats, and you you zoom by to an island that's got this weird like east and west are like this shallowy, dry thing. North has some islands that don't seem quite right in terms of like they're almost have these like cliffs of Dover, but instead of like full white, they sort of turn to like brownish at the tips. And you see a large city with a huge deep water crag right in front of it, as you see the glistening crete and steel of the city. And you see this sunken battleship, huge battleship, built in Drybirth and scuttled there as well. This huge,
You sunk their battleship.
yeah.
When you say battleship, do you mean naval or like space?
I mean, like a spaceship that was being constructed in the water to be launched.
And what?
And you call it a
Attraction.
Drybirth.
Oh, sorry, it was actually, sorry, excuse me, it's a wet berth. Because this is where they dug out and excavated deep down into the sand to create this one, like, permanently really deep bit of water. And rebel forces against the Human Empire detonated it, and it crashed and ruined the whole place. And now it is this terrible sink where there's, like, at the edges you can see where the sand, like, waves in and fills it up. It's kind of dark and murky and algae filled, and the ship is clearly, like, rotting, but the spaceship metal is just not rusting away in most places. And yeah, you come in, you see a sparkling city with some tall buildings, monorails, and urban gondolas from roof to roof. You see collectors, hydropons, all manner of ways to make the life green, and of course every glinting window you know is gathering solar energy, as well as vast plates and arrays near the tops of the buildings. You are directed to the starport, or the spaceport that is, like, you know, the lower berth spaceport, and you, the four of you, roll up in the Koi, not the vessel I thought you were bringing, and you land here. You're let me see, you're coming in. You see this through your window before you land, right? So, you know, you can stance up in the vehicle as you will, or do what you will. You see this sight. 2 Thorn sentries peeled out to either side, a Veer with a clipboard, some traditionally dressed Thren, and 2 Thorns look like office workers, and an orderly with a very lively looking jumpsuit on. And that's more or less the setup here.
Define a lively looking jumpsuit, like bright colors?
It's like a bright like yellow and green, and it's got Gasson. It's got Gasson Slim on a too large like name tag on this like sickly pale white skinned gold disc eyed robot.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Yeah, that's what orderlies look like.
Oh boy.
Does
Yeah.
the overseer look any special or just?
To you, they look like another Veer. They got a clipboard. They never really seem to be directing people. They're in charge. They see you, and they're like telling people, like, you know, like, you can't hear them, but they're gesticulating to get the fuck out of the way. And all, like, they got 3 arms gesticulating, 1 arm holding a clipboard, so, you know, maximum knife hand.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, you guys just give her a park.
Yeah.
Now, are you gonna do the standard operating procedure, or are you gonna try and show off?
Please don't show off. I don't want to die.
Do a barrel roll.
No, I do the standard.
You
standard.
Do a barrel roll.
Yeah, it sets down, the ramp comes down, the overseer comes up, and they sort of gesticulate and say, "You arrive! Come! We are ready!" And the ramp is down on their shuttle, which is a converted Piranha, and they're, yeah, just sort of, generally speaking, here and ready to take the stuff. The people in traditional Thren garb, you would note, they look pretty tough. And Zhivka? Roll me a scrutiny.
Yes, something that. At this point, would I have
modifier of 2.
Okay. At this point, would I have any edge?
You could have
Maybe 1.
You could have zeroed your edge unless you deliberately kept yourself on edge, because
Okay,
it's 10
I'll
hours
remember
without
that
a encounter. Yeah.
Gotcha. Alright. Hey, look! I
Yeah.
rolled well.
Holy shit!
You would note that so you are a Thren who is trained in a variety of martial arts, and you know that they've concealed weapons about their person. Not in a way that's like super concealed if you know traditional Thren garb, but in a way that isn't, strictly speaking, visible. And they're wearing, just nakedly wearing, like, ornate cloth bund, or hard fist, which is basically a Thren brass knuckle, but it's like interwoven clockwork between each digit, so you have articulation. And the Thorn Sentries were warbots for the Thread Federation. The only way to get them now is either to salvage an old one, or certain matriarchal dynasties back in the Thread Federation, depending on their relationship with their government and other things, because they're like a common ownership structure, right? Not like a company, but they can still own things like a company and deploy things like a company, and some of them still make Thorn Sentries.
Okay.
Not commonly, because they're tools of war, but exist. And anyway, yeah, like they're here, they're ready to take the crates from you. If you want to help, you can, but they're prepared to offload you.
I deliberately and distinguishably, that's not a word, deliberately hold up a space clipboard, like sort of between my face and the people doing this stuff, and look like I'm doing all sorts of clipboard work. I want to see my face.
All right.
Just hiding behind a clipboard.
Kulger.
I mean, I'm a rast. I could literally hide behind a clipboard.
Kulger,
You also have a hard hat.
the overseer gives you like the traditional sup nod of your people in acknowledgement, but doesn't like really say anything otherwise. What do you want to do?
I ask, are those Thorn Sentries yours? Do you mind?
Oh yes, you're right. And Overseer gesticulates, and this Thorn Sentry walks over and like picks up a crate with its arms, and then starts taking it over and says, "They're very good. Don't get tired." And
that's not what I was hoping. And I just like kind of like look a little sad and just walk away.
He's like, what were you hoping for?
Oh, I was wondering if I could inspect them.
Oh, certainly, and points to the one on the far side, and says, "That one we've left in standby mode. I don't want to wear out its leg servos by having it carry too many crates. It's already done a job earlier today, and replacement parts for those things can be so finicky. And my employer gets so particular about the parts I use. It can be hard to work with them, And yeah, you come inspect this.
Oh, we know.
piece of war fighting machinery.
Colger would have like been inching away as the other Veers was explaining, just like, I understand. Yeah, but I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, so give me a mechanics to examine the Thorn Sentry. It's a sort of like golden brassy color. It's got this imposing physical form. It's been built for function. Good center of mass.
It's been built after a function, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I'm gonna reach that.
Stop.
And so Blue East. Do you do anything? You're just chilling in the koi pit, which is what we call the koi's cockpit.
Oh dear.
Oh, yeah, that's my name. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think I'm just chilling. Honestly, she doesn't have very much to do with any of these people, and the fewer times they see her face.
Yeah, Zhivka, you gonna do anything? Anything? One of these war dancers does kind of give you like the hamana eyebrow wiggle.
If you mean by unload the crates, no.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps get busy, possibly.
Oh, I see.
I mean, sometimes you gotta unload the crates. And sometimes
the Overseer gives like Kulger the traditional sup nod of the Veer, and the War Dancer gives Zhivka the traditional horn waggle of the Thren. Yeah.
We all know the Rast are the ones with
the Skaloo swish.
Yeah, the Rast are the ones with the
so like do you like reciprocate here in any way as he's moving crates? All right. He kind of like gives you a wink, and he like flashes you like a QR code on his like slate, which is sort of like the discrete way of exchanging numbers, or Swift. He's not really being discreet about this. If you'd like
I thought you were gonna say credit card information.
No, he's not giving you his credit card. He's giving you his number. He's giving you the snap pass. You want
John Wick needs your help.
Damn, this is a good lead though.
Zhivka, do you scan that?
Oh yeah.
+1 war dancer.
40 Thren number.
Damn! If only I showed my face, I could have gotten another one or 3.
Yeah. So they do the work. The crates are just about moved. Like the final one is coming over. when the overseer looks around and says, like, checks his clipboard, looks at the crate, and says, and looks at the Thorn Sentry and says, calculate X3, weight the vector, and like a bunch of things that don't really make sense, but is a verbal code command. The Thorn Sentry sends a processing and says, overweight. And the overseer looks at this and says, we don't even put all the crates on. One moment. And the overseer is clearly going to open the crate.
Alright, so like, are these
can't let
bugs
them
so
open the
bad that they're like both putting things super overweight?
No, they're
and...
not. No, it's worth noting that it's only overweight by like tiniest of fractions. But the overseer...
It's because of the communications spyware we put in that bad boy.
Right, but the
Yeah.
spyware is incredibly lightweight, right? But it's
Oh.
imperceptibly too heavy, right? Like not imperceptibly, but like only to like a really trained eye or somebody who was, because you notice on his clipboard he's got like a weight number for his shuttle.
And
So he's really meticulous. He's a meticulous overseer.
Here's a dumb question. Could I hack it?
No, absolutely. Here's the question. What do you want to hack?
Oh,
Do you want to
shit.
hack his clipboard number? Do you want to hack the Thorn Sentry? Do you want to hack the weight sensor in the shuttle? What do you want to hack?
I want to hack the weight sensor.
Okay, so do you have the Freaker talent?
Is it possible for me to just kind of
No, but I'm also on my own computer clipboard, if you recall.
Yeah, I mean, okay, here's what I will say. Normally, you require a physical connection or something else. You could use the koi. You could essentially do an E-War attack and koi at the shuttle in an imperceptible way, assuming you don't get caught. Do you want to do that?
Hell yeah.
Okay. Roll me,
love being praised.
roll me a quick systems
this
check.
is gonna end really poorly for us.
Roll a systems.
Have full faith in Finley.
Yeah, roll a system.
Oh
So yeah, I would say as a super twist, Finley, I'm gonna give you a choice. Either you could automatically succeed the next time you want to hack a shuttle in some way, or you could plant outside of very close inspection worm in this shuttle's software and give you basically a backdoor.
Wormy baby.
You backdoor the shuttle and you change the number. And the overseer cracks it open, looks at this stuff very cursorily. He's like, rather not breaking the packaging, but you know, hey Cole, going in there like rummage around the packaging, looks back at his thing, says the same thing to the Thorn Sentry again. The Thorn Sentry calculates it again, and it's now a lower number. And the overseer is like, must just be my materials. Anyway, he hits like a little like confirmed stamp, and you guys, your free merchant account, like your communal account, picks up a few zeros as payment is received.
Woo!
Yeah.
Damn, a few zeros. That's the best number to pick up by.
Yeah. So,
Because every zero is worth like 9 other numbers.
So you receive 20,000 trade Threatened Federation credits. At just this moment, the door to the north slides open, and you hear, "Wait just one moment."
God damn it, these bitches.
And two people come in bearing the garb of Trinity Marshals.
God. We didn't do anything illegal, did we?
You say that shit out loud?
I mean, I technically just did, but that's fine.
Yeah, no, I do actually say it out loud.
And Marshal Elira, so this woman comes and says, flashes her badge, says, "I'm Marshal Elira Ben, Trinity Marshals." And her Trinity, her Thren companion sort of like crosses his arms, but rather than like tough cop, it looks kind of like seductive cop. And
Jesus, I love this.
And so they come up, and Gas and Slim says, "I'm Gas and Slim. Would you care to obtain fuel from this platform? Because that's what Gas and Slim's here to do, Jim." End of recording. And
I like to think that Gas and Slim literally also brings his hands up to his face to do that weird.
yeah,
I think it'd be even better if he had like a really obnoxious Brooklyn accent for those bits.
Yeah.
Because a Brooklyn accent, like it's the least space accent, isn't it?
Marshall,
It'd just be like, I'm Gas and Slim. Everyone enjoy some fuel and forget about it.
yeah. So
Can't do
Elira kind of lets it hang awkwardly a moment and says, am I correct in believing that this is the crew of one free merchant ship Scorpio?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like to ask you a few questions. Kind of like stepping up with her buddy, and the overseer kind of looks at you, looks at her, and says, Dwayne herd has no umbrage with the marshals. By all means, inspect our goods, and converse with them. Should I await? And Marshal Elira Bend gesticulates and says, no, you're fine to go. And, but then she looks at the crate, and she's like, wait a minute, what's this? And she looks at it, she looks at the manifest, and she says, where are you taking this? And he's like, it'll be taken to the Druine Distribution Center on the north side of town, and then it'll be sent on. This shipment's for Quater Coda. Yes, I see. More garment fabrication? Very well then. Just, if you could give me your ID, and, I'll be in touch in the event that I have any follow-up questions, but you and your crew can go. Well, overseer kind of like tips his cap. Kulger, you learned from inspecting the Thorn Sentry that they are very fine pieces of work. You pushed it. You get 2 extra twists. So there's extra information you get from this twist. Here's 3 things that you might care about. You could care about its weaknesses. You care about its physical weaknesses, its digital weaknesses, and anything about the provenance of this particular model, such as who made it, where it came from, that sort of a thing.
I think I would care about its physical weakness, so I can better identify how to fix it better.
Well, you got 2 twists.
Oh, so I can pick 2 out of the 3. Then I would do physical and digital weakness.
Alright, so you know that the Thorn Sentries were intended to be used from centralized hardback comms nodes deployed to the front line or a ship's systems. Due to the taking control of the comms node they're routed through, or spaceship they're routed through, will give a great opening to shut down or commandeer them. Thorn Sentries attached to neither are easier to hack. Physically, the leg servos are most vulnerable when the Thorn has been exceeding its intended carrying weight. Less than lethal modifications. Modifications often strain this guideline. So this Thorn Sentry, note, has less than lethals on it. It doesn't have, like, normally this thing has chain guns for arms. They don't let people walk around with robots with machine guns for arms, regardless of who your mommy is in the Trinity. So they don't have that on these. But yeah, you get back to the polishing phase, but then Sentry is like unauthorized touch, and then they're like returning to base, and so yeah, they pile in their little gang here, and they're like, so long, and they wave, and yeah, Marshal Elira Ben's like, so which one of you is the captain?
I mean, you know, we have one of those decentralized structures, but I fly the thing.
He kind of looks at you and it's like, decentralized structures, eh? You got any associated ideology?
No, this is just how Mother told us to be. Well, told me to be, at least. You may be wanting to speak to me or Finley, but also Kulger is very informative.
I see, yes, yeah. So you're Blue East, Finley, Rattle Dab Deep.
Oh, I see how it is.
Zhivka Catch and Kulger, yes. And
I'm here to fix things. Do you need
Zhivka's
anything
good
for
at
anyone to fix?
no,
pointing at things with
but
great accuracy.
I do have a few pointed questions. For example, would you be familiar at all with a vessel that goes by transponder code HCR F01K Red J?
Was that the one we shot a bunch?
Yes.
Yes.
That is the one
Yeah,
that we
that's
shot.
the one that we gathered
Of
earlier.
course it is.
Taylor,
Um,
do you show a visible sign when you see when she says that shit?
Of course not. Of course not. I'm a spy, Lee.
All right, yeah, you're playing it cool.
Whoa.
You're playing it cool. This
Colder
Calder?
is straining very hard to remember.
I think I sigh and I say, yeah, they might have passed us on the way out.
Might have passed you on the way out in the blind behind F4, where if one were seeking to not be detected, one could do so. You
Yeah,
just,
that one.
I mean, we're no expert in the detection systems of this system,
so
ma'am.
so
Sure, ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, my name is Marshall Elira Bend. She, her. Now then,
I don't want to assume anything.
indeed, good of you. Very good of you. Now, here's the thing. You're saying that you passed the Red J behind F4. That's pretty interesting. Their manifest indicated that they were out on a fuel scooping run, but it seems they've jumped system, and they headed out with theoretically no cargo, which is interesting. And then you just so happened to come by right after and pass them. Quite the coincidence. You didn't happen to know anything about the vessel, did you? Were they scooping for fuel, or did you
Yeah, I skipped for fuel.
did you communicate with them at all?
I would like to say that
brief
Finley
follow.
thinks maybe they got out of here to get out of the way of these fucking nosy bitches.
Well, I mean, yeah. So Blue admits, yeah, we had a conversation. They claimed to be passing through, and we responded.
I see.
We were on
Oh,
our
the
way
people
here.
with the life support problem.
Yeah,
life
they had a
support
life
problem? Well, was it resolved? Why would they jump system with a life support problem active?
I assume they fixed it.
What was the
I thought they
nature
were
of their?
stupid because they couldn't fix their own ship, but
Well, all we're gonna
apparently-
say, I mean, we're package delivery.
care
people.
to-
We were
would you-
trying to get our package
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I see. I
We
see.
didn't have time to examine the intricacies of this guy. We're like, some guy. Well, that's too
Yeah.
bad. Time for package
No,
delivery.
absolutely. That's fine. I'll just send a request to your ship's mother unit to give me a transcription of the communication, and I'll check it back out in my office. And then she looks down and she notices something strange, and she's like, looks at you, and she looks at her comms device, and she's saying, "That's strange. Your node unit seems to have thrown a generic error in regards to my request, and it seems like the mother system is backing it up."
Oh, do you need me to fix your slate? Here, if you hand it over, I'll fix it for you.
She looks at you like she's not gonna hand you her slate, and she says, "You couldn't just happen to be a doll and send me the alien?" I mean, it just sounds like they had a little talk about.
Yeah,
life
when we get
support.
back to our ship, we'll send it to you.
Oh, you can't send it now. I mean, it looks like you've all got your devices. I'm sure you're
I
unsatisfied.
said, don't worry, give me a sec. So I go up and I boop, boop, boop,
forgot
and
my
I tell
phone.
the mother unit, send him a version that more or less backs up our story.
Okay, you get from Night Blossom, deceiving a Trinity Marshal is not within the purview of our system. However, delaying arrival of information resides within a gray zone. I calculate that a falsified version would eventually come back to bite you, but I could do it. If you
I'm
deem it
assuming
mission,
I'm not
if you deem it mission critical, Night Blossom will send a doctored version. But whenever it's no longer mission critical, Marshal Elira Bend will be immediately informed of that fact, that it was a fake, and shown the real one.
That seems
Doesn't actually
like
seem
it's
that bad.
worth it.
Yeah, that doesn't actually seem that bad.
All right, yeah. If you give full confirmation, like this is necessary to maintain and cover and do the mission, It happens,
Yeah.
and Marshall
I
Lyra.
say, I use the secret code word. Rhubarb.
Yeah, so like 2 seconds later, there's a bleep from Elira's slate, and she's like, she hits play on it, and you guys hear your voices from the beginning of the conversation, and you hear it take a markedly different tone, including where they say that they fixed their life support, and they're going to be passing on by. And she plays the whole conversation, she nods, and she's like, so, they passed on by, and I take it there were no exchange of goods, they didn't jettison anything you happened to pick up.
Miss Ben, you said you would listen to that in your office. How could you lie to us like that?
She rolled her eyes and
Are
said,
you also
I didn't
people
think that I
don't
was going
pay
to get
for
a
fixes?
I didn't think I was going to get a strange error message from Mother. In fact, I'm gonna have to ask where you've got your ship in orbit here.
Yeah.
I'm conducting an investigation into the ship that you passed, and I believe that they're associated with the Free Frontier Front. You're familiar with them, yes? She's looking at you very intently.
I'm no expert on how Trinity law enforcement works, but if they left the system, wouldn't that make them outside of your jurisdiction?
She laughs and says, clearly, yes, the Trinity Marshals exist
No, she's a
to
marshal.
travel all across
Oh,
Trinity space
shit.
and engage in law
I'm
enforcement.
Rast! How the fuck do you... I literally say this in character. I'm Rast! I can't fight... You people with your goddamn... Your marshals and the cops and whatever's like... Shit, just have a private security for a minute.
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
As
like,
it
I
turns-
throw my hands up and like wander behind a crate.
What can I say? I enjoy living in a society where you can't just skip town because you've done something. Anyway, I'm going to
I kind of just like.
and I don't have a warrant, so you don't have to say yes, and I am legally obliged to remind you of this, but I would like to request a brief tour of your ship to check out your cargo. Check it against the manifest. If they manage to sneak something aboard your ship or on the outside of your vessel, then I'm sure that we'll be able to take care of that for you.
I think that's.
So,
probably
to my
good.
understanding, our ship, all the secret shit is like hidden decently well.
Yeah, this hidden shit is hidden decently well. This woman's job is to suss out hidden things. It's a bit of a tight race.
That's a no from me.
It's a bit.
That's a
She's
no.
not gonna instantly see that shit when she walks on your ship. To be fair, and if she's mainly checking your cargo and the exterior, the serious risk is what's disguised as a cargo hold on the exterior, a cargo container on the exterior of your ship.
I think we say no.
The railgun, yeah.
I explicitly said that's a no from me, dog.
Well, you have legal right to do that, and per Trinity law, your denial here cannot be used against you in any legal proceedings, nor considered suspicious activity. But if you rethink it, and you get a little bloop on your slates from like a little local airdrop, that's my number. And she kind of like gesticulates to her.
Hey,
to
oh,
her companion.
who just got a number?
Yeah, as much as I turned to Blue East and I'm like, fucking, you're getting all the numbers today.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, yeah. So Marshal Elira Bend gives you guys a look over, and she says, "Oh, and now that you concluded your business on Cyrus Steeple, what were you planning to do next?"
We're gonna
It's
wait
our
around
our
for
time,
the-
baby. It's in our contract.
Give me a communicate, Finley.
I'm trying to give the impression of a delivery crew that just was like, we're delivered shit, and now we have contractual like amount of time in port to do whatever the fuck we want. We're gonna enjoy that.
Yeah, I think she said you're like east with like a sufficiently acrid, like, you know, not enough to be like she's saying starting something, but you know. Also,
Yeah.
as a professional, she does not believe in such profiling techniques.
Cool. Good to know. Just wanna
Yeah,
make sure
so
Nice to hear.
you get the as it
Oh my
turns
God,
out,
this woman.
Marshal Elira Bend is a woman who knows how to do her fucking job.
Okay,
So
question.
do you want to
Important
push
question.
this? You have the option to reach it.
Well, I don't know about that, fam. I do have a talent which may be relevant though.
Hit me with it. Hit me with it.
Oh, shit.
It's called Slick.
Oh.
When you fail a communicate test, scoring no successes. Oh, that doesn't count. Never mind.
Well, okay.
Never mind.
Well, technically speaking, right? how this works is her defense negates your successes. But
So,
technically speaking, you scored no successes in this test, I believe.
brilliant. Okay, let me read the rest of it. You may gain 2 edge and force a single target of that test, Marshall, Lyra, Ben, to contest you with insight. I feel like that's a bad plan. What's my insight?
What would happen basically
Well,
is you'd force.
If they do not score any successes, it counts as you having passed the initial test with a single success.
Okay, here's what this would do. Here's what this would functionally do. You would
Force a reroll.
you get to force a reroll on her, basically. Do you want to?
Yes, that seems like a great plan. She rolled too well. Let's force a reroll.
Also, she's not supposed to
Why
have.
you
a-
roll better?
All right, yeah. You slick boy, you fucking slick.
Oh.
And she.
Oh, force a reroll on her. I don't have to reroll. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So she kind of looks at you and she's like, "Fair enough, Battledy Dap. Well, I hope you enjoy your vacation. Although you should know, a lot of those home ship brochures are a little farcical. The resorts are normally tens of kilometers away from wherever the watery beach might happen to be at the moment, and the high gravity that you're beginning to feel is normally uncomfortable for Rast, and I think most Rastian tourists wind up just looking at the hotels and pool halls. But hey, if that's your scene, have a great one. And he would give everybody an adieu and say, and if you happen to obtain any suspicious information about individuals associated with the Free Frontier Front, which goes beyond the purview of political activism, Snow Dogs, $50. Space fucking turbulence happens.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so she walks off. Thank you, Snow Dogs. That was a perfect idea.
Holy shit!
Marshall, Elira, Ben walks off as Snow Dogs, our dear patron, causes a space thing, and she's walking away, and she leaves. Right? The peacekeepers kind of give her a nod, and like, "Ma'am," and she's like, "As you were." And
Not relevant stuff.
so you guys notice something down below you, right? So this is a platform. This platform is lowerable all the way down to the water to give more space for ships to park. And there's also like independent fuel and door platform, right? That can be called up and down.
You really thought this math through. I really respect you for
You
this.
notice something down below that at first... Actually, I'd say everyone give me a scrutiny. Everyone give me a screw.
Okay, while everybody's doing that, can I use the bathroom to grab another water?
You,
I don't
you,
want to take off without
Yeah.
being fully prepared.
I have no eyes.
Oh
God.
man.
Alright, so Finley,
Out of
you
all
know...
of us, only one success.
There's a little bit of something that looks like maybe seaweed, but it's kind of like it's wrapped around one of these things, right? And there's a cross section that's sagging. And it looks like it's sagging more than you think it should. And you know, you might point out to Kulger, given that Kulger has knowledge.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, Colger, what's with the saggy boy?
Yeah, Cole, you look down and you see a beam that so basically this beam is a break in the lift system to raise and lower this platform. And the break is literally about to have the speck of sand on the camel's back moment that fucking snaps it. Like inside the next 30 seconds.
I scream back, everyone get on the ship, we need to get off this platform. Whoever's maintaining this needs to get fired.
Alright, so do you all sprint aboard as the platform
Yes.
shudders and begins to descend as space turbulence strikes?
Right before I get on the ship, I scream out, gassing Slim, I don't know if you can leave your station, but
Gas and
Don't
Slim,
fall.
Gas and Slim is on his own lift platform because the fuel pump can be lifted separately. Okay, so here's what's happening, right? You guys have air traffic, lots of other kois, lots of in-atmos crafts zipping around outside like a Star Wars spaceport. You have, like the fact the landing gear safe disengagement proceedings take more than 30 seconds at a official spaceport, kind of like on the grill, and there is, a general commotion here. So, if you want to help with the landing gear situation, you could give me a mechanics. If you want to help with the air traffic plotting situation, you give me systems, and if you want to get the fuck off of this rapidly descending platform that's about to go kabunk into the water, you could give me an operation.
Well, I don't help with air traffic control.
I don't help with either.
Wait, I'm gonna fucking fly this shit.
Okay,
Hey,
and,
Lee, real quick. Okay, never mind.
and no one tries to do anything about the air traffic control situation.
Which one was that? Was that scrutiny?
Systems.
Systems. Shit, no.
I feel like literally anybody but me would be capable of doing that.
Max?
Actually, he's not. Finley's chilling.
No.
Alright, so what do you...
This is literally Finley's job!
He's choosing
I
not to. It's a
tried.
character moment.
He did try.
Oh, he literally rolled. I thought he was just choosing to not. Okay, yeah. So,
No, I said I'm not helping because I tried and I failed.
Culger, do you want to give him
Jesus Christ,
mechanics?
people, you assume so little of
Do
me.
you want to give me a mechanics, Culver, to basically pull a lever that goes kadonk and like early disengages the...
Fuck!
Holy
Remember, reaching is a
shit.
mechanic in this game. You can gain one edge and then roll all your dice again. You're free to do that.
Yeah, might as well. Come on!
Oh my fucking...
Shit.
Well, so Zhivka, do
Air
you...
traffic
Okay, okay. At this point, I'm gonna reach. If his reach fails, I'm reaching.
Alright,
my
alright,
God.
let's see. Go up to 3 edge and...
5 successes.
Let's go! Hell yeah!
Oh,
Okay,
God.
okay.
And remember, you should
Well,
be up to 3
someone
edge after that
succeeded.
reach.
Oh my god.
Alright. Now, Pat, make me an operation test. It was going to be -2. Now it's only... Now it's just a straight one, because you don't have as much stuff running into you. Not RNG's this moment, indeed, calling auto. Orange Satan. And, Zhivka, I'm assuming you're just, like, buckling in, like... Ooh.
I'm buckling in, holding on for dear life, since everything's falling apart around me.
Alright, so Blue East manages to get you guys off just in time. And like the ground buckles around you as you zip up off the platform, and you hear like alarms and saying like the platform you're on is descending into water, and then people hailing you like, what the fuck, you're cutting in traffic, and there's like zooming around, but you managed to get more enough of them off. Yeah, so after that a little incident, you circle around for a moment, and you feel like maybe just like landing on one of the local pads that can accept a koi could be a good idea. Or you go up to the dropship, and the dropship is good at dropping in lots of places. But something like nice and firm and concrete you're feeling.
Yeah.
I like that sound. That sounds delicioso.
By the way,
not
as you're
more
flying
funny.
up, you hear the bit of news that drips by is that the Druine Dynasty's cultural revival program continues to swell in popularity as the demand for traditional Thren garb skyrockets across both Thren and human inhabitants of Styre's steeple. You see like pictures of the people in the clothing, like the flashy logos, and the unique style, the local style developed for the planet by the Thren of Styre's, and the unique local style developed for the planet by the Thren Farshore Premeditative Society has attracted a growing number of Thren Federation tourists. Asked about the success, the Druine Dynasty's scion on Styre Steeple, Raja Druine commented, "We are the star children of our forebears' grandest dreams." Hold on, they're on camera here. I gotta show off this fucking art back there. This shit's going on the radio as you like fucking take a collective sigh of relief that you're not dead. We are the star children of our forebears' grandest dream. Come together in a greater unity than they could have hoped to imagine. The Steeple people represent all that is good about our ancestors' aspirations amidst the stars, and I am humbled to serve as guarantor of their legacy. May we always remember who made this possible. And, it cuts out, and they're like, and don't forget to hit one of the many stores today. And you see that there's like a store in Steeple Coda, but there's a lot more stuff in Quater Coda, and some stuff in Great Gill Rest. Other population centers not depicted on this map. This is the capital region. But yeah, and there's like various like trading posts and like Amazon drone hub style like roving malls in the air that you can buy this at. It's advertised, but yeah, that's the Druine cast basically.
Well, that worked. I kind of want some of their cultural outfits now.
Indeed.
Don't fall for that enemy's trap.
Quests and cliffhangers, thank you for coming in with the raid. Yay.
Nice.
No
Nice.
failure of the poorly
Hell yeah.
existence.
So little thing about East, she actually does wear traditional Thren garb, oftentimes when she's not in her pilot outfit.
Yeah.
Not like traditional, but like, modern streetwear, modern Thren streetwear.
Indeed.
So she actually would genuinely be interested in this, but also
Indeed.
she's suspecting what's going on.
And the particular garments of this world were created by the Far Shore Premeditative Society. So for generations, right, like over a century, there were Thren who knew that they would never be able to see this planet, but who put together a culture and plan of mirage forming for it. And despite its beauty, it had no natural life, which was a prerequisite. No natural complex life, which is a prerequisite for mirage forming. And they came here across the stars. Their great grandchildren came across the stars to discover that humans had fucking, jumped the gun and fucked up their terraforming progress 100 years ahead of schedule, and there are all sorts of issues with it. Their garb is like traditional Thren garb meant for this sort of a planet in like humid climate and the shifting of the seas and like running in the sands and etc. etc. So yeah, that's
I have a lot of like gossamer thin wraps.
yeah, lots of wraps. Foot
I mean,
wraps, dog
Murad
wraps.
itself is one such planet, much like this, but albeit with less gravity. So
Yeah, so it's designed for the slightly higher grav is one of the main physical distinguishes, but they also invented this, like, the Predator Society imagineered the culture that would rise here, and they chose, like, the color schemes and motifs that would make it stand out as a distinct thing, and due to the fact that the Mirage forming got fucking jumped by humans in the ensuing milieu, that culture never really got a chance to even be tried. The Steeple people, while they include Thren, don't really live their lives anything like the way that these forebears thought they would. But here we have, in the Druine dynasty, some of its members were intended to be here, and they were going to, as you know, have a... Well, actually, you don't know that yet. Anyway, so yeah, you guys...
As you well know, thing you don't know yet.
Yeah, so anyway, you guys, you want to park somewhere and then, like, take a look at the street, the mean streets of Steeple Coda?
Real quick,
that's probably the best idea.
Mm-hmm.
How open, like, are you, like, excited about the garment blue?
I think I'm actually like, I'm like, oh wow, that's super pretty. That would go really well with one of my pauldrons.
They probably don't make it in Rast sizes.
You see Colger, like, finish typing out something on the slate and remark, like, I don't understand why so many people are so obsessed about clothing. Like, why bother?
It's a statement of self-expression. I mean, like,
Ooh.
don't you just want
What do
to
you?
occasionally feel the urge to create your own self-image?
The duality. Colger
No.
and Shivka.
But
What do you mean? Why bother? Explain.
I mean, in my hometown, we just paint our shells. We don't wear things.
So you are telling me to paint myself and not wear anything?
I'd be done with
Yes,
that.
that's to me
Well-
seems more natural.
The Rast often express themselves by taking clothes off, so kind of on the same page here.
See?
What a change
No.
star! What a change star's conversation to have, right? just in your shitty space truck after barely escaping a faulty infrastructure-related accident. So anyway, clothing or no
Also-
clothing, weigh in.
Lee, I do send a
The message.
whatever
Yeah,
this world's a text message
Yeah,
is.
she responds very quickly and asks like if you were like was anyone injured, and she's coming back and blah blah blah.
Gaseous Slim is gonna be very lonely for a while, but no one was injured.
Yeah, she's like, all right. Well, I'll absolutely look into this. That's incredibly suspicious. And yeah, she advises that you be careful and contact her of any other strange situations. Flavored neon. I've thought of neon having a flavor, but I love the ideas of it being many different flavors. But also that nice colorless, odorless neon gas just through the tube before they ignite and color it is probably a more menacing neon. So things here great. We're having pro-nudity, anti-nudity conversations. The party's just come up away from a space turbulence events, thanks to the great generosity of Snow Dogs. And the party is about to hit the mean streets here for the last bit of the session. As you guys, I'm assuming you like land somewhere right in the Koi, and you want to hit the mean streets.
I find a nice place in the a worse looking part of the spaceport, kind of less trafficked.
Yeah, so you find a less trafficked spaceport place, and you lodge it for a moment. You go walking the main streets, and you find yourself pretty quickly seeing the Gucci arches of the Juween style stores in the distance, as well as the ever familiar Hjelb glyph indicating wine. And yeah, there are people, you know, like working the nope, there's not giant.
They're giant people.
Giant people.
No, there is, however, a very large, kind of vaguely reminiscent of Mirai creature next to a Mirai at the street corner, kind of taking things in pensively.
Oh wow, that's one of those megaphone drones that we were hearing about earlier. Look at that. You don't see one of those every day.
Wow, that's hot.
Yeah.
very
And you know
interesting.
what? Speaking of hold on. What did I name that fucking image? Never mind. Continue.
Yeah, I'd be
Well-
very interested to see the biomechanics of those limbs. Can we get a closer look?
Oh god, I mean, you can feel free to ask the handler, I suppose. I personally want to get to that store right next to them.
I'm gonna, bump up against Gunnery Officer Cock, and I'm gonna nudge up against. Gonna be like, bar right there. I mean, we have to maintain cover that we're on shore leave, right? Hit the bar.
I agree.
Yeah. Fun fact, Dren can drink 3 times the alcohol of a
fuck
human
ton.
before getting, any effects. So he...
I feel like the rats are probably half the amount of alcohol of a human.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
we assume Zhivka does most of the
Time to
drinking.
get shit faced.
So I'm like, let's do a drinking contest.
You get shit faced.
Yeah, there
You're
is...
gonna die.
I drink 1, you drink 6.
Alright, so
Amazing.
you two pull up to the bar. Kulger's going to check out the Mega... fauna.
Mega drone.
Yeah, and Blue East, you head over, and you do see there are some cute outfits in not just human and Thren, but also Rast sizes. And there's some little little draped ornaments that one imagines a Veer could wear around their neck.
Oh my, so inclusive.
sizes?
Yeah, and she's like, "Hi, welcome. This is a kind of a bustling store, popular with mostly humans
she's
and
giant.
Thren. But people are coming around here. They're doing their business, and yeah, they invite you to step right in.
Yeah. Oh, I like going in and I start shopping. I actually am shopping, so do you want me to roll a systems for it or something?
I think you just pick out the stuff that you think looks nice, and
Yeah.
Just pay for it.
it's
she
like
does
an inconsequential amount. In fact, you can use living expenses to buy clothing, right? And because they're designated as culturally important, even stuff that might, technically speaking, be using exotic materials can be financed and sold without the expense of lux. So you can buy slightly nicer clothing without having to spend a lux buying it from this store.
That's
So Trinity encourages cultural appropriation by discounting cultural garb.
The
mean-
Druween family who was selling this shit was instrumental in the invention of it, so...
I don't know about that, Lee. Sounds like some excusist bullshit.
I mean,
So,
you know, it's not
Culver-
necessarily cultural appropriation when you're like one of the 3 dominant cultures in
Yeah,
a setting.
welcome to the culture.
Every time I see someone wearing blue jeans, I ask, "Did you get permission for that?"
So Kulger, you find you see a Thren on the corner with their little box on the transit box. Like, oh, hello. And Churned White Sands is here. You see in the distance, there's like a convoy of like hovercraft with like big old Louisiana swamp boat fans on them. Churned White Sands is a bit larger on account of being a lady, Vivir, and she and her companions are enjoying libations and noodles, and they kind of give you a hello as you come by.
I get the pleasantry hi.
But you like clearly turn to like this person about your business, or you say anything?
Yep.
All right, yeah. They don't heckle you. They just enjoy their soup loudly. Patience anxiety here says, "Oh, hello. Would you like to speak to me?"
Actually, I was wondering if you or your friend wouldn't mind.
Oh,
I'm a sort of a practicing doctor, and like I start shuffling out of my pockets mechanical parts. Like, oh wait, put them away. Start pulling out medical supplies, and like, I'm a practicing doctor.
she's like, "Ah, I see.
I was very interested in the Mariah anatomy.
Ah,
No invasive. Nothing. No blades. But I was wondering if
you want to
your
examine?
friend would let me
Oh.
inspect it.
Oh, you mean the drone? Yes, I see. They call me Patience Anxiety, but you can call me Paxi. I am an engineer and overseer on the Friendship Enterprise, or I was, I suppose, given that it's expired. Yes, I'm in a bit of a predicament. This is the last of my drones, and it has outlived its expected lifespan, and it is also my direct charge. This drone was birthed by my queen, and I cannot merely abandon biomatter of her birthing, nor is there a procedure for disposal prematurely on this planet. So, yes, you should know that it is soon to perish, and I would not really consider it my friend, but by all means, examine this drone. It is a biomechanical machine that has helped us achieve our goal, and it has nobly pursued that well beyond its expiration date.
You said your ship perished?
No. I mean that this creature, this drone should have perished by now.
Oh, sorry. To the statement before earlier, you
Oh,
said
the Enterprise has expired. The Friendship Enterprise has expired. You heard about that in the news broadcast earlier that you might have been cutting out. Basically, they were doing a 50-year-long infrastructure project to help bolster this planet, and it's ended. So
I heard Enterprise, and I just immediately assume it's a ship.
no,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
So basically, the infrastructure institution that Paxi worked for has been disbanded, but she still has a drone directly assigned to her that's not dead yet, and she's kind of in a conundrum because of that. Because she doesn't have a job here, but she's got this drone, and she doesn't feel right abandoning it, and there's no biomatter recycler to have it walk into, which is normally what
damn.
happens to drones that are, not being
Quite the
used.
conundrum.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how much money I have, but I could attempt to pay you to let me inspect this, and then once his lifespan is complete, I could inspect the anatomy.
Paxi kind of reels at that and says, sorry, friend, canned laughter plays. I assure you meant no offense, but too close an inspection of the anatomy of Mirai is normally not taken kindly. Although, I don't take offense with it coming from Avir. It is just the sort of thing we like to keep on the down low, due to historical considerations. But you may examine my living compatriot at the moment, and no need for currency. I have my needs cared for. I am just inconvenienced for the moment. And yeah, roll me a medicine, because the drone is very much alive.
If you would feel better, you could. Oh yeah, no, there was one success. I'm not used to these new symbols either. Well, maybe they're not.
Yeah.
It's been a while for me.
Yeah, I also just
Yeah, you get a success.
generally.
That's a single success. If you want to, you could reach it.
Yeah, Koga's pretty interesting. It's a pretty rare phenomenon, not phenomenon, chance.
Yeah, you don't catch them outside of Mirai space every day.
So I know we kind of had this earlier. I can't minus.
Yeah, so what you do is just normally you add your edge before you make the roll. Just don't add the edge right now. Do it right after. Okay, so you wind up.
Now
So now go to So you wind up getting a success and a twist. So your basic determination is very strong creature. It looks almost analogous to an ape, but more like designed after a creature that is like an ape than their own allegory to an ape, and it's very large. And its hands have opposable thumbs, and it's got strong forearms it can lift and push from, but it can also carry and work.
That's so weird to think an insectoid with opposable thumbs.
And it's also got you can tell that it's got space inside its chest to store things. Like it can swallow and store them and then sloop them back out. I'm assuming you twist for extra information.
Remember when Kat first described the Mirai and said they're like these cement mixer bug people, and they can spew out stuff to make structures. And then I put some googly eyes on a cement mixer picture and sent it to her and said, "Is this what they look like?" I just want everyone to remember that. That was the first image of any chain store species ever, if I'm not mistaken.
Aside from the ones that I picked out.
Yeah, so
it's not, no count.
Sorry, aside from the ones that I cropped out of porn.
You twist for extra information, right, Kulger?
Yeah.
Okay. You initially see that like this the dermis of this insectoid seems rich and lively, and their tendons seem well worn, and you can tell that they're like aged, but it almost feels like this is a healthy environment for them. Maybe even healthier than the one they were originally designed for.
Oh,
do I have like any
that would
insight
it would explain why it's still alive after it was supposed to have already died. It's
do I have,
basically
like, any insight on like preserving its life even more, or not particularly?
The main reason people did a lot of large-scale study of Mirai anatomy and biology was to create tools to genocide them. Ever since, there has been a general on outsiders looking really, really closely in. Now, human outsiders are going to be mistrusted far more than a Veer outsider, but Kulger doesn't necessarily have like a Rolodex on info. You'd have to spend time with this creature and try things. Basically, you'd need a you'd need like a full medical scan of it, and then you would need to do things like try adjusting its diet and doing other stuff. And even then, the creature, like its muscles almost seem wrinkled in a way. Like when you listen closely to its breathing, it's a little raspy. The beats per minute on its hearts, both of them feels a little distended and not quite in tune as they should be, and maybe not as fast as it should be standing for a creature like this. Like, this thing isn't... This thing could die... If this thing fell over dead either a year from now or tomorrow, you wouldn't be too surprised. I mean, maybe tomorrow might be a little surprising, but like, you wouldn't give it long to live. So, you might be able to boost it weeks, days, maybe years, if you got in that position. But right now, no, you don't. You can't think of any miracle drug or thing you can do to snap your fingers and make it go forever. You are roll me a systems.
Well, not forever, but just extending it.
Yeah, roll me a systems.
A systems.
Because I want to know if you've heard of this.
Nope.
I'm assuming Kulger. Do you think Kulger has made a close study of Mirai drones and their technology and things that get done with them, and the Mirai war effort and what they did during the war?
Kulger's not much of a researcher. He's a learned from experience type mechanic / doctor.
I don't think you've run into. I will say this: you think Kulger gets around, right? Like his neutrality on matters. He's like, I fix. Means he gets around, right? To a variety of kinds of people, right? The only thing you would know is that you did once encounter, you were working on a ship that was ferrying a Mirai aristocrat to Farhive, the kind of like space flotilla of exiled Mirai, and they had a combat drone. The only other time you've seen a non-standard Mirai drone up close, and it definitely had cyberware installed. And you remember its reticules had like targeting eyes in them. Its eyes had targeting reticules in them. And you think that there's probably sophisticated brain interfacing cyberware somewhere in Orion's arm, this like space as far as you're concerned, that can interface directly with Mirai drone brains. That's not shit that anybody's gonna be handing out. You'd need to really find that shit.
I go to Paxi like, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you, but if you want...
No offense. I understand that you were just curious. I am also, too, naturally curious.
If you want your drone to survive longer, I start shifting back from medical supplies to mechanical again. I could attempt to replace parts.
And
you did call it a machine.
She waves her hand and says, "No, I'm afraid that we have a misunderstanding here. I actually prefer the opposite. When this creature expires, I can, more dutifully depart. So, Paxi is not invested in this drone living.
Cap the bitch.
That's the opposite of what Paxi wants." Yeah, I'd say we zoom out on this little cultural exchange between Kulger and Paxi as Boltrup and Max. Zhivka and Finley just sat down at this fucking bar after the day they've had. What are they drinking? What are they doing? What do they say to one another?
I mean, I always start the same way. A blended double Mierenklov. You can't get them blended. I'm declaring that now.
You can get them blended? I mean, you can, but it's not like a Mierenkov anymore. It's a something else Klov.
You can get a mojito blended. It's not really a mojito at that point either.
Yeah, no, sorry, that's something else. I'm weird something else, but yeah. God.
Well, I'm trying to maintain my cover as a Rast who doesn't give a shit about Trinity culture, so blended Mierenkov. I'm not paying attention to your lore, Pat. I'm acting.
No, I know you're actively participating in it, and I hate it.
People do hate it when I actively participate, so that makes sense.
Oh, Jesus.
What would be a lore appropriate drink then for a Thren?
A Mierenkov without the blending part.
Then I'll have that.
Actually, I'd probably have some sort of weird Rast drink that's made of, like, fish oil or something.
Yeah,
Like
fish oil, soy sauce, and a little bit of rum, and a dash of sugar.
I think we did establish that, like, the Rast have some really great rum.
They do actually, yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine a drink with fish oil in it.
Well, there was a drink made at a bar in, I believe, New South Wales, Australia, which contained a fair measure of soy sauce.
Yeah.
Now, I found about this drink in an article that was talking about this drink because this drink was created in protest of the fact that in that province of Australia, you need to have a liquor license to serve soy sauce.
Whoa.
Wait, what?
And they said, well, if you need a liquor license for it, we'll put it in a cocktail. The article ended with, yet so far, no one has ordered the drink. I feel like that's some reporting, like,
That's
laziness.
bullshit.
They should have ordered the drink. They should have found out what it tastes like. I need to know.
You mean you're going to make one?
Wait, where?
There's actually another...
Oh, there's a lot, actually.
Talking about Lee's back, so...
Yeah, sorry, we kind of sidetracked off of Chainstars into some weird shit, but we're talking about drinks nonetheless.
All right. So, but what do Finley and Zhivka in the fictional universe, not Max's bar table, engage in?
Well, we probably have we're seasoned operatives. We probably have some sort of, like, canned, nondescript conversation to bust out in public places.
Indeed. But do you use like a coded euphemistic language within that to discuss the business of the day?
A spy's cant, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, do you fucking give it to me? Give it to me. How do you discuss it? What do you say?
I say like there's no way that girder collapse was a coincidence. There's clearly
Okay, but
there's a lot going on.
Are you saying that in is that what you're literally saying, or is that what you mean to say?
What I'm literally saying is like literally the most banal like sports team nonsense you can imagine in the world. Like, wow, weather. It's been having weather, much weather. Woo hoo hoo. This is like the undercurrent is like there's definitely shit going on with like on paper we just delivered this and then tracked this. There's a lot of moving parts here.
Mm-hmm. All right, and Zhivka, what do you say? And also, but like, what? How do you say there's a lot of moving parts here in normie-ese?
I don't like this.
Oh, I don't fucking know. I say, man, we got a lot of crates to shuffle around back in the cargo hold.
All right, Zhivka, how do you respond to that?
I think I just sigh heavily, grab my drink, finish it immediately,
Wow,
And then
Miracle's a
pull
tall
out-
drink. That's
and then just, it's fine, it's on your bill, you're the one that wanted to drink with me. And then just start pulling out my data slate and just ignoring the rest that's talking about weird shit.
all right. If they ignore me, I'm gonna look around the bar.
All right, well, wait. So, okay, so do you think that you don't speak normie?
No, I don't understand what he's saying.
I just thought you didn't want to. My character assumes you know and just thinks, oh, you're ignoring me. Maybe I did something to annoy you, so I'm just gonna look around the bar and see if there's anyone more interesting to talk to.
Amazing.
So, as you do,
No.
we zoom out. We zoom out over the whole of the world, right? And you see it reflected in this this deep orange like the skin, like an orange peel drink swirling in an open glass. As an unseen speaker says, it's finally coming together. Dween legacy, mine to claim at last. And yeah, that's how we end for the night. Called the soy sauce martini. The new concoction is made from Grey Goose vodka, shaken with soy sauce, sesame oil, and sriracha, garnished with a crispy dim sim.
That actually sounds great.
Nice. Yeah, but Snow Dogs, thank you as always for coming out. Thank you everyone for coming out. That was a wonderful Change Stars adventure we just had there. More Change Stars in the future. This is the new Thursday night game, Scorpio. And yeah, I think that's more or less the sesh. We're going to do a quick little feedback phase. Just give me your star moment stroke scene of the evening that I was in some way responsible for, or that like another player did and you want to like thumbs up. Yeah, so we're gonna do it right to left. At star me.
Oh my god. First off, love the new end cap thing. I think I literally clipped the star moment actually.
Mechanic Doctor.
The mechanic doctor comment was too good. I'm kind of a hands-on learner in my craft of mechanic doctor. Sweetberg intensified.
Yeah.
But no, I think everybody played amazing and interesting characters. I feel kind of as if I didn't particularly play as standout of a character this round as everybody else, because we've got some real winners here, and this is very fun. Yeah, no, I loved every bit of this. This was a blast, and you know, as the progenitor of the lore, there's like so many Easter eggs that you're just throwing out there, and I'm very. You didn't consult me on most of them, and if you did, I've forgotten, because you absolutely knocked it out of the park here, and I'm very impressed with all of your hard work and everybody else's. This is just super fun.
All right, Shin.
And Shin, I will have custom art for you next week.
Shin, star
Thank you,
me.
appreciate it. I feel like throughout the campaign, my quirk might get annoying, but so far it's been fun and great. I've been enjoying this on-the-spot character that basically Max and I thought of. And I enjoy how very fluid you take my comments. I get to contort your responses and how responsive you are on me kind of like manipulating your words. I very much enjoy the back and forth of that. And
which one of those
one
moments
thing I
would you
wanted
like?
to note was
Yeah.
it's been a while since I played Change Stars
Mm-hmm.
from like the playtests, but ship combat, at least speed and mechanic wise, felt a lot smoother, more polished.
Yeah, thankfully we had some friends from Bolt Vanderhuge over on Quelmar really helped me out. Appreciate it massively. And we did a whole playtest, rapid fire, and yeah, it's been sveltified.
Yeah.
We boiled it
Between
down.
like the broken up documents in the journals in Roll20, the UI, like you literally having like symbols for things, like all of it. Besides the fact that we try to get a little too complex for what we wanted to do, it was all overall really good compared to what I experienced in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. I've ran my head against so many times, and I'm glad. I feel confident we're going to deliver something that's basically like this but refined to our backers and everybody else who ever plays Change Stars, and I can be proud of it. I can finally say, yeah, we made a good space combat system, and I think that's going to be the big bee in our bonnet. But yeah, that's yay, Max.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Max, star me, star moment, star entity. Stellar incident.
I mean, I hate to say it, but the most memorable moment of the night, maybe for all time, will be that Baltrup's character's last name was Cock. I mean, like, there was a lot of great stuff that happened in this session. I really want to stress that. Like, there's a lot of really great stuff, but like, come on, people, let's not lie to ourselves. What's the other thing you want me to say?
I read that as Koch or like catch. Like I
No.
How am I the one? How am I the one who's not being? All right. So that's your star moment. Is that Boltrip was named Cock? Cool, Pat.
Wait, there was another.
We had Pat. No, it's Boltrip. It's Boltrip. No, you just your star moment, Max. That was the star. Was calling Boltrip Cock.
But you just said it twice, and I thought that was 2 questions.
Okay, so that's it. You want to revise that?
No, I stand by that.
Boltrip.
Stand by that. Thank you very much. Well, I'd like to say that this is my first time playing Change Stars, so I'm learning the system as we go. I've never played this before.
Oh my god!
It is. I'm playing a much more refined version than when you guys played it. It is actually pretty easy to learn as someone that has never touched it. So really, I'd like to say
doing it with the deep end with fucking space combat. Holy shit!
This stuff. Honestly, just before this, I was reading a ton about Rogue Trader Space Combat. So I don't know if you guys have ever played the Warhammer stuff, but the amount of content that I was reading versus what is here is a lot better. It didn't feel like I was literally reading 2 different rule books because I have a second splat book that goes over space combat.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yes, no, it is much better, and I didn't have to read like 2 chapters worth of stuff to figure out what I'm doing.
I like especially the Fantasy Flight Warhammer stuff and games like that and how they do it and how they make it its entirely own board game. I was a thing that I struggled against and to not do, and the first like 2 or 3 iterations were like that, and so we finally broke it. So the space engagement was like cool for you.
Yes, it is a lot better. It functions in a way that I think makes every person feel impactful because it's not just like
do the same role and
you know, everybody can do something. Even though I'm the shooty person, I'm still being helped by other people, you know, and obviously the pilot keeps us from dying. So if I say anything star, it would have to be that the space combat is very fun, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Holy shit!
Well, that's
First time
fucked.
I've ever heard that about a spaceship.
I
fighting
enjoy space
system.
stuff. I kind of like the FFG space combat, but this is much easier.
Well, I
Well,
mean, hey,
damn.
I'm glad. Wait a minute. I might see who we're about to raid as long as I'm not. All right. Yeah. Okay. No, they're cool. Their UI looks similar to someone who I raided in Architecture once. All right. Cool. So, thank you all for coming out, Dreamers. We are going to raid the United Players Society. They're playing a little Achtung Cthulhu. A quick trip to France.
Ooh.
I'm sure it will be. And I will catch you all on the flip. But until next time, Dreamers, remember 8:30 p.m. Eastern every Thursday, and High Road 8:30 p.m. Eastern every Monday. You can catch Twin Chin twice a week on the regular on Diesel Shot. So please
Shin twinning.
do it for Shin. Endless Shin content awaits. I promise. We've got the merchandise in the kiln right now, firing.
My shenanigans.
Shenanigans! Nothing I'm gonna say better than that. We're raiding. We're fucking raiding. My man's been holding on to that one for years. And
Goddamn
he just
clip that!
unloaded.
Don't read yet, you
Thank you,
stupid
Cole.
bitch.
No, I'm raiding. Wait, what? Didn't I raid? Did I not
No,
raid?
you're
Should I
good,
cancel
you're
it?
good.
Okay, we're going. Okay.
No,
Amazing.
Pat wanted to clip that.
Alright, you can clip it from a VOD. But yeah, alright, we're raiding. I'm hitting raid now. You ready?
Bye.